Chris Godwin suffering a brutal, what looks like a broken foot injury coming out of this week 7 performance as the Cardinals are still marching to try and win this game. 15-14 Chargers, 134 left. We've got that game over here. We've got the Buc game that ended and the brutal injury at the very end. Looks like a broken foot. Mike Evans out with a hamstring injury. That looks to be multi-week. I don't even think 1 week. I think Mike Evans is out multiple weeks playing on a hamstring that was having him hobble through the whole game. I don't know why they're sending these guys out there injured. Look at Nico Collins playing on a severe injury, goes out, makes it worse. Mike Evans goes out, makes it worse. Mike Evans, Godwin done for the year. You can see him here in an air cast. Looked like his ankle or foot broke. Kind of makes me think maybe Dak Prescott's type of ankle, foot, broken foot situation. Horrible news. Horrible news. Jameson Williams suspended 2 games. That was what I was planning on going live for. I had all the graphics and everything set up, and then we had to readjust. Curveball thrown. Broken foot, ankle for Godwin. Suspended 2 games. Jameson Williams for performance-enhancing drugs. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. Emergency Week 8 edition. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday,
8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
No exaggeration. I forget what word we were using there. No exaggeration. This is one of the most gruesome foot injuries I think you would see. They don't have the replay available to even show anymore. It is bad. It is a bad ankle / foot injury for Godwin, done for the year. Baker's value just tanked. Mike Evans being out, this is brutal. If Mike Evans were still on the field, you'd have an uptick in value there, but who knows how long he's out. This Bucs 2024 NFL season just took a turn in the wrong direction. Cardinals are trying to get in field goal range to win this game right here, as it's 14-15 Chargers winning, 1:18 left. Cardinals are at the 11-yard line. They're not going for any big plays. They're putting the ball in the correct position in the left hash for their kicker, preferred spot to kick this one to win. MHJ, big disappointment tonight. Kyler Murray had him wide open on a touchdown. Granted, Kyler was blitzed, but Kyler didn't see him. He was wide open for a, 40-yard touchdown, which would have totally changed the trajectory of his fantasy football value. So lots of stuff coming negative from tonight's 2 games. This doubleheader Monday night thing might not be a good idea. We have double the bad news. Double the bad performances. Now, Derrick Henry was a monster. Lamar Jackson was a monster. We'll go over all that. Lamar throwing 5 touchdowns in tonight's outing. Mark Andrews catching 2. Derrick Henry scoring and having a massive amount of yardage, which looked to be a very bleak performance for Henry until he ripped off I believe an 80-yard run, which turned the tables on all of that, and Derrick Henry exploded tonight. Sum total at the end of the game, when all was said and done, Henry smashed. If you watched the first half or right around that amount of time, you thought Henry had a dud of a game, and he turned that sucker around. That's what Henry does when he gets going and the defenses get tired and Henry runs. So we're here to talk about the aftermath of everything going on right here. This is so wild, man. There's so many injuries. Just tonight alone. Just tonight alone, losing 2 top 15, top 16 wide receivers, maybe one for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks in Mike Evans, and one certainly for the entirety of the season in Chris Godwin. Godwin's been a top 5, 6, 7 wide receiver, depending on your format, all year long. Evans is certainly capable of being that guy, even with Godwin on the field. They're both kind of a rotational wide receiver, elite wide receiver run one with the rotation of it, similar to the Gibbs and Monty situation in a way. And you've got now both wide receivers done. I don't know, Mike Evans returns in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be a 3 or 4 week injury. The way that this guy went down, hit the ground, was in serious pain, and he was hobbled to begin with. Mike Evans shouldn't have been on the field. I blame the coaching staff and the training staff for putting him in a position where he's out there. You gotta protect the athlete. You gotta protect the athlete. You can't make the athlete make the decision because they'll want to play every time. Nico Collins, unnecessary long-term injury. Mike Evans, unnecessary long-term injury. He's an older player too. He's also going to heal potentially a little bit slower, most likely, than the average player. Chris Godwin, Cardinals win. Well, yeah, Cardinals win. 17-15, walk-off field goal. Cardinals doing good things. 3-4. Kyler Murray looking pretty good in this game. Do I think Godwin is out? Yes, I believe Godwin is out. His ankle was like this, bro. His one foot was up. His other foot was like this, sliding, limp. No ability to move the ankle. He either tore his... we don't even know. He could have tore potentially his Achilles. He could have broke his ankle. He could have broke his foot. He could have done what Dak Prescott did. We don't even know. They won't even show the replay right now. But it's probably a broken ankle. Everyone's assuming it's a broken ankle. The replay is not even available. So we're hearing, it's all hearsay from people that Chris Godwin got hurt, feel bad for. Let me read this real quickly, see if they're calling the injury. It's probably an ankle. Let's see here. Dislocated ankle. It's bad. It's bad. You got to wonder though, in that situation, is the Achilles okay? Is it broken anywhere? Dislocated, obviously a bad thing. What about the ligaments? What about the blood supply? What about a sprain? How severely is the ankle sprained? Because you don't dislocate your ankle and not sprain it. Is there any sort of damage to the upper part? Is his Achilles okay? There's so many things that could go wrong from this. Is his foot fractured or broken at the same time? Because a fractured ankle / foot could be a lot of things. And they don't know. They don't know. Just like they didn't know for days on Rashee Rice. They may not have all the specifics tonight. Dislocated ankle, according to Schefter. I'll put that on screen so we have it. So if anybody comes in late, they'll know that information's been posted. But this is awful news. Devastating news. Marvin Harrison Jr. walking off the field there. Kyler Murray being interviewed right now. Kyler had a pretty good game. That touchdown was unbelievable. That 50-yard touchdown run by Kyler Murray. Let me put this up here. This is Chris Godwin. Dislocated ankle from Schefter. Again, don't assume that's the worst of it. He could have tore his Achilles tendon in this situation. His leg was limp, or his ankle. One foot was upright, or straight on like that. The other one was to the side, and it was just dragging as he was like sliding down. It was completely lifeless. Oh man, what a disaster of a day. You know, other than the unbelievable performances by both Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, which I'll put the box scores up so we can box score Bobby the hell out of this game. Very, very solid affair on the Ravens side of the football. But I will say exactly what we've talked about Zay Flowers being. He was tonight, inconsistent. And it's not his fault. He just lives in an offense where there's a rotation going on that doesn't allow a wide receiver like Zay Flowers to exist in that wide receiver one territory. Lamar just spreads the ball around. Look at this man right here. Let me see if I can put a circle of some sort on screen so I can identify these stats. So if you look at the wide receiver, Baltimore Ravens wide receiver numbers here. Bateman, 121 and 1 TD, 4 receptions. Don't expect this to continue. I know a lot of people are going to think so. Yeah, okay, he found his guy. No, that's the way Lamar rolls. 1 TD, 4 targets. He had 4 targets. On 4 targets, Bateman's going to get you 30 or 40 yards in most games. Justice Hill, 3 targets. He had 44 and a touch. Andrews, 4 targets, 2 touchdowns. Not going to have 41 and 2 touchdowns if even a touchdown every 4 games. But he's definitely back on the map to a degree. Likely 2 for 17, continues to be ignored. Derrick Henry, 1 catch for 13 yards and a touchdown. Then Derrick Henry up here up top, no rushing touchdowns, but Derrick Henry 169 on 15 totes. Very bad, almost first half for him, and then he rips off an 80-yard run, and then the tide turns. 169, 0 tutties, but this is the story of the night. 5 passing touchdowns, 0 INTs. Lamar at 52 yards, no touchdowns rushing, but 52 yards and 9 rushing attempts. 281, 17 of 22. Remarkable game for this man, Lamar Jackson. Remarkable. And Baker Mayfield, gritting it out, having a pretty damn good day when you think about it. Rachaad White, 40 yards rushing, 10 carries, but catching 71 yards and 2 touchdowns via the air. Bucky having the 3 for 55 down here. Cade Otton, 8 catches for 100 yards. Rachaad White, only 10 carries. You can't expect this kind of performance every week. But with both his wide receivers down, with Evans out for a significant amount of time, probably 2 or 3 weeks minimum, and Godwin likely done for the year, Rachaad White now becomes maybe a receiving factor here. Baker, 3 tutties, 370, 2 INTs, still a pretty decent fantasy game at the end of the day, despite all of that negative stuff attached to this game. Unbelievable. And then if we go to the Cardinals side of things, let me pull up that Arizona Cardinal box score, and let's box score Bobby the hell out of that game. What a crazy night. Jeez. The injuries have been disastrous. I almost want to put up an ADP ranking and see how many players have busted or gotten injured. Let's do that in a second. I actually want to do that. I want to see how bad this thing is. I want to see if we're exaggerating a little bit, or if we truly are we embellishing? Are we embellishing the injuries, or are we correct? I don't think we're embellishing anything. I don't think we're exaggerating a single bit of this year's injury woes. This seems to be crazier than almost ever. And tonight, just having 2 players go down, the magnitude of these injuries is crazy. McBride, 51 yards on 5 catches. Marvin Harrison Jr., where the hell is this kid? Why isn't Kyler throwing to him? Wide open touchdown reception, just not even looking in Marvin Harrison's direction. I realize he's getting blitzed and he has to make a quick decision, but that's part of being a quarterback. And I know Kyler had a pretty good day at the end of the day. 64 yards and a touchdown Kyler had. He had 1 passing touchdown. Kyler also had 145. He had the 1 INT. Not the best game in the world, but not a bad game at all because of the 64 yards and the rushing touchdown. But he's ignoring his number 1 target. Connor, 101 yards. MHJ, 3 for 21. A 5-point PPR performance. Connor, 101 yards. Solid day for Connor. 2 for 52 receiving. That's about 17, 18 points. It's exactly what we said on the live stream before the show. We said, could he get 19? Someone asked, can Connor get them 19, or would MHJ have a better shot at getting 19 but have more risk? Connor was the low risk play, very safe play. He had a very, very good game, and MHJ did exactly what we thought he could do, which is have a bad game but also had a shot for a good game. Had a wide open touchdown reception, just absolutely not even looked at. This guy, Justin Herbert, is wasting away on this Charger roster. This Harbaugh character everybody seems to love so much is got the worst offense and the worst usage of his resources and the worst offseason game plan that I've ever seen. Almost ever seen. This is just a debacle. And the way he structured and built this team in the offseason was head-scratching. Let's let Keenan Allen go. Let's let Eckler go. Let's not bring in Derrick Henry. Let's not bring in Josh Jacobs. Let's not bring in Saquon Barkley. You have zero interest in bringing in one of those assets. Instead, you want to pay both J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, who's your closer. Remember those comments? Gus is a closer. He's a finisher. We'll bring in Gus Edwards and he'll absolutely close and finish, and he's such a good RB. This is the all ACL and Achilles tendon running back crew, his brother's crew. He brought over Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, his brother's former players. It's wild and weird. And you could have brought in Barkley, Derrick Henry, Jacobs, whoever you wanted to. You had full autonomy. You could have made this roster scary. Instead of drafting Neighbors, you went with a position you didn't necessarily even need because you had to move him to the other side of the line. Everybody's like, he won't draft Joe Alt because they don't need that exact position. Slater's there. What are they going to do? No, he drafts Joe Alt. This is the wildest build I've ever seen. And having Herbert waste away on this roster is like having a race car that can go 200 miles an hour. Okay, that's Herbert. He can go 200 miles an hour. He can race as fast as any of the quarterbacks in the National Football League. They go 200 miles an hour. He can go 200 miles an hour. What does Harbaugh do? Puts a governor on him, a limiter. Doesn't let him drive more than 92 miles per hour. Driving Miss Daisy in this offense. This guy can't do anything. Doesn't have the weapons he needs. He doesn't have the right offense that he needs. He's got handcuffs on him. What's Herbert going to do in this offense? Absolutely nothing. 349. That's a good day for him because he's throwing from behind. In certain spots of the game, this is a remarkable waste of talent. There's not even the most talented roster anyway, but a remarkable waste of an opportunity is the better way to put this. Kyler Murray, again, decent day for sure. MHJ, very disappointed. I admit I'm very disappointed. I don't know where to go from here with Marv. I know Marv is one of the most talented running wide receivers in the National Football League already. Like he is a phenom in the making, potentially. But Kyler doesn't seem to want to throw to him on the consistent. So we'll have to see what's in order. I love MHJ. I still love him. I get that there's expectations that need to be maybe leveled or maybe plateauing in some respects to his ability to be consistent. It's going to be like this. This is the plateau. It's going to be a bumpy one. It's not some flat upward trajectory for MHJ. I do hope that changes. I will be very hopeful. I will throw him into deals. I will buy low on MHJ where I can because I still believe in the player. I still believe in the system in some respects. I know Kyler can get him the ball. Remember the one half of football. In one half of football, MHJ pulled in 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. And in that game, in the second half, he literally could have had 2 more touchdowns, another 40, 50 yards. It could have been a huge day for him. It could have been a 4th time. I mean, you could say that you could play this game with a lot of players, but you're talking about a 3 or 4 TD game and 150 at a MHJ that one game. We've also seen MHJ wide open on about 3 or 4 touchdowns this year that were wide open. Absolutely wide open. Not a player in sight because he's so good at deciding when to use the space on the field and how to do it, how to break away, how to read the defenses and find the open pathway to an untouched touchdown. And Kyler hasn't seen him on at least 3 or 4 plays. I know I'm becoming an MHJ apologist. I get it. And I'm acknowledging right now that I don't know that this gets fixed either. There's a lot of things that aren't getting fixed right now. Will CJ Stroud throw the football? I don't know if he will. I have no clue. I have no clue if CJ Stroud can throw more than 86 yards because he didn't do it the other night. How's anybody else going to do well? The answer is we don't know. There are certain things we don't know. Will a bunch of things turn around? We don't know. All I know right now is what we've got in front of us, which is a suspended wide receiver in Jameson Williams, missing 2 games for PEDs. You got Godwin, probably broken foot, ankle, dislocated, but looks broken to me. Dislocated, broken foot, ankle, who knows? We'll find out more tomorrow. How's the Achilles? Is he going to miss 4 to 8 weeks? Is he done for the year? I would guess he's out for the year. Mike Evans, I'm thinking something along the lines of this is an injured hamstring already. Getting re-injured sets him back more than the normal amount of time. You tear your hamstring in a weakened state. Just like if you get concussed like Tua Tagovailoa was while he was in a concussive state. Remember that? Miami Mike sending them back out onto the field with a concussion. You get concussed while concussed, your brain damage is probably, and I'm no brain surgeon or brain doctor, but I can tell you right now, probably pretty severely different to get concussed while you're concussed. Hence why you're in concussion protocol, to make sure you have no more symptoms so you don't get hit again. Because if your brain's in a turmoil situation and it gets concussed there, you might have a chance of getting CTE or anything else, and those are all guesstimations on my point. I am no doctor, but I'm one of the best deepfake doctors on YouTube in the fantasy football space.
Let him cook.
Let's take a couple phone calls, then we're going to go to the Super Chats.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
We'll definitely get to the Super Chats in a minute. Hang tight. Any $20 haulers will move to the front of the line. I would like to take a few phone calls first, because I know a lot of you need some tweaking of your lineups and rosters and venting and upset. Keep all the swear words at bay. This isn't a family show, but I always say we do all have families. Okay, so you're live, Taylor from Cincy. What can I help you with or dissect right now?
All right, so how's it going? So I just lost this week, and I just talked to the Lamb owner. He knows Lamb's value, so he wants a decent chunk of change for him, but he wants Hall and Higgins for Lamb.
Well, let me just.
Other RBs are Chan and Mixon, so I could do it realistically.
Yeah, but here's the problem: is Hall has higher value than Lamb. Lamb, I get he's trying to sell him at his draft value, and I get that you're kind of willing to overlook it. You're the reasonable buyer here. You're being very reasonable to say to him, you know what? I'm not an idiot. You're not an idiot. We all know that Lamb is going to return to form. So if everybody could mute, if I've added you, got a full phone line. We got like 10 people on the phone line. If you guys could all mute until I come to you, that would be great. I'm just talking right now to Taylor from Cincy. You know what time it is, okay? And most people would not, they'll refuse, and they should refuse to pay draft day prices if he currently does not have draft day fair market value. Now, if you're in a 10 or an 8-man league, I throw that to the wind and say, you know what, overpay because the waiver wire is rich.
Yeah, we're in a 12 team,
so when you're in a 12-team league, it's very different, bro. It's very different, and I venture to say that you need to trade. If you're even going to do this straight up, I would ask you to get more with Lamb. I'm not saying it's not a bad idea, but Lamb is on the struggle bus right now, and you're buying him as though he's not. Hall is blowing up. Hall is fantastic. Hall is a top 5 overall pick. Lamb is going to fall outside the top 5. So if you're going to do this, at least get something back and get back to the point where it's kind of Lamb for Hall straight up, but you're getting something here that makes me feel better about this. I think this is way too much. I mean, one could.
I went back to him and offered him Mixon and Higgins, and he was like, no. So.
Yeah, well, he's not going to do that, but you're giving up the guy that's ranked higher than Lamb, and you're giving him a receiver that I am not saying I want Higgins over Lamb. But could someone argue right now, with the current state of the Cowboys, with Dak Prescott, with all that going on, that you might end up saying, this has got to work out, right? And then a week goes by. This has got to work out, right? Higgins has got to be worse than Lamb, right? Then another week goes by.
Yeah,
is there a universe, a Spideyverse alternate of this universe where you're sitting there waiting 4 weeks and eventually people say Higgins is better than Lamb? I'm not saying it happens. I'm just saying you're giving up a player that can have a cup of coffee with Lamb, and you're giving him the best player in the deal. This is not a good move. You need to walk away.
Gotcha.
What you need to do is walk away from the negotiation table and just say, look, you're not being reasonable. If you give me a player that's equal to Higgins that balances this out, sure. If not, I think you're giving me something and I'm giving you Hall. If not, then enjoy Lamb, and just walk away. Like do a hard, close the door on it, walk away. Don't even have conversations. He'll come back to you. If he actually believes this is even, he'll come back to you and go, fine, I'll do it straight up. And then you're going to have to make the determination of you saying, nope, I want something else because the market commands it. All right, got to go, Taylor. Call back if you got another one. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Let's see here. Let me go to Scotty Dew since he's calling from Hawaii. Scotty, you're live.
What's up, Smitty? Hey, I'm so bummed about Godwin, man. I don't know what to do. I have him like everywhere in all my leagues. Do we try to pick up Sterling Shepard or McMillan? Man, prayers up to the guy, man. I feel so terrible. Dude.
Yeah,
Horrible.
I mean, I like McMillan a little bit, and I've always said, I don't know if you guys remember, I specifically said it. I know I've said it to like Travis while Travis has been on the phone line several times. I've said it. That I can see a game or two or three where McMillan's the only starting wide receiver of the three of them, Godwin, Evans, and McMillan. Because Godwin and Mike Evans are injury prone-ish players, I can anticipate a game where it's like McMillan's going out as the number one. I don't know that McMillan will for sure be, what we hope he will be. But he's an exciting play. I can't tell you which wide receiver is going to be the guy. I would definitely say McMillan's exciting though. But damn, bro, we get this. Okay, Whittington's the bell of the ball in the preseason. Then he gets his shot and craps the bed. Wicks looks fantastic as a secondary role, and then all of a sudden he's thrusted. Dobbs suspended or sits out of game. He's thrusted into the lineup. And then Wicks lays an egg. Wicks is always doing something when you got him on the bench, like scoring again last week. Godwin going down opens the door for McMillan, but we can't guarantee a single thing. But I do think McMillan's the better option for now.
Yeah, I in a league where I have Godwin, I also have Kate Otten and I have Njoku. So maybe, what do you think about Kate Otten and his opportunities for targets now?
Jason, mute yourself. If everybody on the phone line can mute besides Scotty, please mute yourself and wait for your turn, and I'll have you jump on. What do I think of Kate Otten? I think Otten jumps up the waiver wire board to at least, I guess one. I think he's got to jump up to the one spot. There are definitely some players I need to add to this. Let's see here. We got to put Keon Coleman on here as well, because Keon Coleman, I looked it up later. He's available in a crazy amount of leagues. Ayuk is out for the season, so that means Pearsall and Jennings go to the top. But we need to put Keon Coleman, on this list because he's available in, I think it's like at least 40%, if I remember correctly, of leagues, because Keon Coleman got dropped in droves last week. So Coleman needs to go on this board. What, Travis?
On Yahoo, he's only 33% owned.
Okay, yeah. So Jennings, if I had to guess between Pearsall and Jennings, I'm going to go with the guy who, I mean, we still have to make sure he's healthy and everything, but if Jennings is able to go in week number 8, or even if we're saying like he needs another week and then the bye week happens, who's the better receiver long-term with the injury to Ayuk being out for the season? It's probably the guy that exploded and had one of the bigger games of the year that knows the playbook. Even though I love Ricky Pearsall, he's still a rookie. He can get not doghoused in this situation, but I would just say that Pearsall is a slight notch below Jennings if Jennings is healthy. Now, if Jennings struggles to stay healthy, then Pearsall will climb up. I think Coleman, I'd almost say Coleman and Pearsall are pretty damn close. Jennings and Coleman are pretty damn close, and Pearsall right here. Running back wise, man, I don't know. Rachaad White, Travis, can you look up Rachaad White? I know he was cut in a crazy amount of leagues, but I don't know if he breached down into the 20%, available. Look up that real quick.
No, he's 84% owned on Yahoo.
I mean,
still
worth bringing up. Still worth bringing up, but I think Bigsby available just barely misses the cutoff, but I put him on here because I want to make sure that everybody looks at their waiver wire. Bigsby is the top pickup of the week. And dare I say that Bigsby, if we're talking about being a win-a-league player, he might go from 9 to probably a potential 10 out of 10 for being the best pickup of the year. Not saying he is the best pickup of the year, but what this determines is whether somebody has like a ranking of an 8 or 9 out of 10. An example of a 10, we had 2 10s last year, Puka Nacua and also Kyron Williams. They were both 10 out of 10s for being the best pickup of the year. Think of it like a grading scale, like an A+. An A++ is a 10. So 10 out of 10, Bigsby being the top pickup of the year.
I just have a couple more questions for you before I head out of here.
Real quickly, bro, you got one more because I got a full phone line. So real quickly, Scotty, one more.
So I'll try to pick up McMillan, and then for the Browns, you think Tillman could be a decent flex option? I want to try to grab 2 receivers.
Yeah.
From the waivers.
Yeah,
Tillman. Keaton, I think maybe Keaton gets maybe close to 10 targets a game, kind of like Njoku.
Yeah, Otten goes to the top of the Week 8 waiver board here at tight end. Mays, the top quarterback. Jennings, Pearsall, Coleman are the top 3 receivers. Bigsby's the top running back, unless he's gone because he's only available in 28% of leagues. Goodson and Ray Davis, Jalen Wright, Tucker, was a little higher. Then it gets kind of thin unless there's another running back that I don't have listed that is more available than I'm thinking. But yeah, I think, Tillman, look at this, pause this board right here, bro, and look at it later. But this is kind of where the ranking board is right now. Juju, injured right now, dropped quite a bit, but he's still kind of available for later on. But he's ruled out of this week, and so worthy to the moon. I also think one wide receiver to keep an eye on would be DeAndre Hopkins in case he gets traded to the KC Chiefs soon. So make sure he's not available in your league. That's somebody to keep in mind. All right, Scotty, call back if you got another one. I got to roll around the phone line, bro. Appreciate you. Travis, you're live since you're here and you're a Mars man. And go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, so just quick on the McMillan thing. On the Patreon, you wrote a little article about him back in June, and you said exactly that with Evans and Godwin, getting a little older, there's a point where he could start this season on that team. So
yeah,
you've been on that for quite a while since the beginning of the summer.
I hope he does something. It's hard to know if, like I said, with all these players, the expectations always like, oh, this is his time to shine. He's going to go crazy, right? And then they don't do anything when they're called upon. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I like McMillan a lot. He definitely, if you're in dire straits, especially with the Coleman injury. Super chatters, I'm putting your name on your super chats on the board here, so you know that I'm coming for you. I wanted to open up the phone lines tonight to get a little bit different feel versus just hitting super chats from the jump. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to hit through these phone calls. I'm going to go as quickly as possible. Travis, one question. I'll put you on hold and come back to you at the end. But if you have one more thing, real quick, hit me.
So I'm 6-1, so in one league, so I'm looking to kind of make moves to plan for the future a little bit too. And if I could get Lamb and Kamara, would you give up Tyreek Hill, Monty, and Worthy?
Let me put it on the screen on the board here. Hold on.
Yep.
Lamb, you get Lamb and Kamara, and you would give up what?
Hill, Tyreek Hill, Monty, and Worthy. I have Gibbs too, so there's a little tough situation or whatever built into that for safety. But
so Lamb crushes Tyreek Hill right now, but is there a week or two scenario that could go by with Tua back where that completely flips? It's certainly possible. Kamara and Monty are pretty close to me. I think Kamara's still number 2 overall in all running back scoring, even having 2 dud games in a row. But he's older. I get why somebody would want Monty, but Monty's not a spring chicken either. And Monty had such a bad knee injury. He was done for the year, we thought. And now he comes back onto the field, plays. Wild to me because he looks so bad. That injury looks so bad, and he reportedly has no issues with the knee at all right now. But I still think I would smash this Kamara Lamb side. It just feels, especially. But the only thing is, bye week is out of the way. So bye week out of the way for Hill, bye week out of the way for Monty, bye week out of the way for Worthy. So if that's like a difference maker for you, then you have to consider that, because if you've got 2 wins, 1 win, or anybody else watching in a similar situation.
I'm 6-1, so I'm thinking I can afford to make a move.
Then it's definitely something you can do. All right, hang tight, Travis. I'll come back to you in a second. Let me just get the rest of these. Let me get these super chats on here. Let me go over to Caps from Florida first, and then everybody else stay muted if you could. I'm going to get to these super chats as soon as I clear the phone line. I'll go as quick as I can through these phone calls. Caps, I can't go through your entire lineup. So give me a question. You got 30 seconds. Go.
No, real quick. You just covered Coleman. You covered McMillan. What's your thoughts about Khalif Raymond or Tim Patrick out of a 14-team league, just for a pickup for the waiver?
Yeah, I don't mind it, bro. I don't mind it. It's just tough. It's tough to say. It's sure. Depends on the options.
Which one would you want first, though, Coleman or McMillan?
Probably Coleman, but there's arguments to be made here. Also, Coleman, I think, long term, I'm more excited about his situation than I would be McMillan, which isn't as short term because he's going to be out there with the injury to Godwin. But I think, Coleman feels like he's in the right spot now. He's in the right role. He's running the right routes. He's in his natural position, or a position that's more natural to him. He's getting a lot of, single coverage type scenarios thrown at him, versus being like, even though he's a rookie, he's their top wide receiver, and that was just a lot for him to take on. I would say Coleman's special. I don't think I was off on Coleman. I think I was just, I couldn't have known. Like Josh Allen has fed Diggs for years. There was no real reason to think that Josh Allen wouldn't gravitate towards spoon feeding him. It was just kind of a weird circumstance. I don't think I'm wrong on him. I just think I'm a little early, and sometimes that's the case with some of the Moon Men and Mars Men. And he's a specimen. He's like 6'4", I believe, 6'4" talent. He towers above other players on the field. He's a big dude. He's a absolute possession wide receiver. He can go up and get a football with anybody. He's learning his spatial dominance and spatial awareness. And now he's not the seasoned veteran, which he was not ready to be. I think he really takes on, and not to mention Amari Cooper. He's good, but he's just good enough to not be like the end of Coleman's upside. Like, Coleman gets capped very little, I think, by Amari Cooper. I think Amari Cooper is very, very solid. He leads the league in drops, I think, or right there in the top 2. And so he has his problems. He has his limitations. He's not some overall, best polished wide receiver in the National Football League. He is a serious possession and deep threat player that I think is a remarkable add by a team that needed this earlier in the season. They didn't do it. Now they got it. It's no harm, no foul. They look good. Josh Allen's a freaking machine. They're going to be, the Bills are going to be a force because of this trade. But I think it makes Keon Coleman a very, very solid play moving forward. Wide receiver 3-4. Like, with bye weeks and injuries, in your wide receiver 3 spot a lot.
Excellent. All right, so I'll stay away from the Trey Tucker landmine and go after Coleman.
I think so, yeah. I think so. All right, bro, later. We'll talk to you later. Rob from New Jersey, you're live.
Hey, Smitty. What's up, man?
What's up?
I called yesterday. I asked about Javonte Williams and selling him high. The Gibbs owner just offered me Olave for Cooper Kupp. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. But would you trade? I also have Pollard. Would you trade Kupp and Pollard for Gibbs?
Yeah, definitely don't take Olave for Kupp. Kupp and Pollard for Gibbs, I'd take Gibbs in a run, bro.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's data behind it, bro. There's scientific evidence. The algorithms we've cooked up on this show. But the continuum of the gigawatt component structure of Jahmyr Gibbs' workload divide has a megawatt offload that if you compartmentalize the component conjunction timekeeper and you flux capacitor out the continuum component megabolt, things just end up happening. And that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 5 to 10 running back instead of top 6 to 10. I mean, it's not just my gut talking, it's data, bro. But look, Gibbs was the best buy low walking into last week, or walking into the week that just ended, and the week before and the week before, as everybody just chirped over and over that Gibbs is the backup. Big Gibbs is the backup. He's not the backup of anybody. He proved that last year. And what did I say before going into this game? How ironic is it that Jahmyr Gibbs' explosion last year occurred in week 7 when Gibbs, for whatever reason, week 7 he's running back 3. Week number 7, this is Monty's game log. That this is all of this is 2023. But week number 7 this week, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. Gibbs is, I don't want to say back because he never went anywhere, but it's been a wild ride in Detroit, obviously. But what an absolute smash of a trade if you can pull this off. Cooper Kupp, Pollard for Gibbs. Kupp isn't even certain to get a bunch of work Thursday. We hope he does. And Pollard, I trust Pollard about as much as I trust. I'm trying to think of a player that's playing well right now that I don't trust.
He had a terrible game again.
Without getting myself in trouble, and eating my words later. I'm trying to think of just the right player. I was going to say Russell Wilson. I was going to say I trust him about as much as. The problem is Russell Wilson faces the Giants next week. But maybe this is the game that everybody says, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk, and it isn't, and it proves. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. All right, so appreciate you, bro. Smash that trade. Even if you had to give up a tiny bit more, I'm doing that, Rob. Call back if you got another one.
Javonte also?
Yeah.
With them?
I mean, don't tell anybody, but I would. Don't tell anybody. All right, later.
All right, man.
All right, Brad from LA. Try not to do Javonte, though. Brad from LA. What can I do for you, Brad? Quick as you can, bro. No full team breakdown.
Smitty, I just watched the MHJ game. I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
I just got offered Tyreek Hill for him. Should I take it?
Yes.
That's
about it. I mean, think about it from this angle, bro. I mean, I literally have been saying do this before this game. Go get Hill. Hill's the best buy low wide receiver in fantasy aside from Lamb. Gibbs is off the table now. You can't get Gibbs cheap anymore. It's now Lamb and Tyreek Hill and Achane. Those are the 3. Tomorrow you'll see my video. Those are 3 best buys in fantasy. All right, bro.
Okay.
Later. Appreciate
it.
Yeah. Elijah, I see you calling from Cincy. I can't add any more phone callers. I got to get to these super chats. EA Goats, you're live. What can I do for you? You're in the game.
So, what do you think? How much do you think these OCs are impacting fantasy football? You look at Arthur Smith last year. You're looking like the debacle with MHJ. What do you think is going on? Because that's really frustrating to watch a top 5 receiver treated like he's the 6th receiver on an NFL team.
I don't know, bro. All I know is when I watch MHJ play, I am not disappointed. When I watch Kyler Murray and MHJ play together, I am disappointed. Not every time, but a lot of the time. MHJ's wide open. Like he's beating his defenders. He's seeing what he needs to see to slip past somebody. I don't even know if this is a design play or he breaks off from his route and says, I'm wide open, throw me the ball. There's been now at least 3, maybe 4, if I'm remembering correctly, wide open MHJ's hurling down the field with not a defender in sight, not even in a 30-yard radius of where MHJ's running down the field, and Kyler hasn't seen him in at least 3 of those times. I believe maybe 4. So that's 3, and those are easy gimme touchdowns. It's not like, oh, he maybe would have turned that into a touchdown, or defender hits him and the ball gets batted away. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about he's literally jogging wide open down the field. And Kyler, so it's 3 touchdowns. That's right there. Those 3 with his 2 touchdown game would be 5 alone. Just in those 2 games, he'd have 5 touchdowns. He'd be halfway to 10. He'd be halfway to a double-digit season. So I love MHJ. I can't keep apologizing. Just like I can't keep apologizing for Tank Dell. We have to, at some point, inward look and say, Is it, and I don't believe it's Dell. It's not Dell's fault, but it doesn't matter, right? I'm still responsible for saying Dell's going to do well and he doesn't. I got to acknowledge why. And the honest truth is, even if Kyler has a good game like he did tonight, like a good game, it's not a great, amazing game, but it's a good game. He ran a 50-yard run to win the game. He's commanding. Even in a good game, he can totally screw MHJ. I'm still buying him though. But you know what? I'm buying him for free. But I'm still buying him.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, I got another question for you. I've got Josh Allen. Would you start Tank Dell or Amari Cooper next week?
Jeez. This is where I think people think I'm crazy for even like hesitating. But, I mean, Stroud made it a point today to say we need to get Tank Dell the ball. The only problem is I don't trust Stroud right now. So I'm probably going to say Amari Cooper. I don't trust Stroud right now. It's not that I don't trust Tank Dell. I'm watching Tank Dell run great routes. I'm watching Tank Dell dive for Stroud's very bad errant pass that goes, it's in reach of him touching it, but he's laying out and his fingers barely touch it. Stroud has overthrown Tank Dell on at least 3 or 4 at least 3, I think 4 if I remember correctly, but 3 guaranteed. 3 touchdowns were all Stroud's fault. All Stroud's fault. Dell is nothing. Look, you can rip on Dell, and I take ownership of that. I can't control that Stroud's not doing it, but I need to acknowledge that Stroud's not doing it. So my answer is Amari Cooper for right now, but I guarantee you that if we in general sit Dell, he will pop off. So I'm going to start Dell where I can, and I'm going to sit him where I can, if that makes sense. And that's the end of the day. That's the end of the conversation until Dell bounces back. But this is on Stroud, not Dell. Dell's doing nothing wrong. It just so happens, guess what? Stroud's playing like dog shit. And that's just the way it is.
It's just another Kyler Murray MHJ situation.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I appreciate you, bro. I got to move on. Thank you, EA. Call back if you got another one. Let's see here. Balake, you got 30 seconds. Go. Then I'm going to get to these super chats. Don't worry, guys. I'm coming for you.
All right, help me with this one. So how do you look at Trey Benson as best pickup of the year from 1 to 10 like you did with Tank earlier? How do you see him 1 to 10? I
mean, on spec, I'd say I don't even think I could put him at like an 8 or something. Like right now, he's not near the lineup. So I think like something along the lines of like 6 or 5, maybe 5, just because he's not like he's sniffing the lineup necessarily. And Connor looks great. You know, he runs such aggression, but he always gets hurt. So like if an injury happened, boom, all of a sudden we're talking about Benson being one of the best pickups of the week, and he's at 7 out of 10 of being the best pickup of the year, that type of territory. But like, I mean, right now with what we know, he's not a 7, but he's still somebody, if I see gets dropped, not every case can I pick him up. You know, that's the cold hard truth, right? You can't. Sometimes you're in a league where you just have smaller rosters. You look around and you say, I can't pick them up. I wish I could pick them up. I can't pick them up. I got this super chat. I'm coming for you guys, the super chats. Don't worry. Hang tight. Anything else, Balake? Real quick. You got 10 seconds.
No, you're good. Thank you,
All right,
man.
later, bro.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate you. Steven from Iowa. You got 10 seconds. Go, or 30 seconds. Go.
Yep, what's up, Smitty? So I'm 2-4. I'm needing some help. I let a trade go by last week. It was Patrick Mahomes and Malik Neighbors for George Pickens and Josh Allen. Obviously, I missed that. Now they're just wanting Malik Neighbors for Josh Allen. But my wide receivers, I have Neighbors and MHJ and JMO. And you know, I can't really sell them high, and now JMO is going to be out 2 weeks. But in my IR spot, I did pick up Tua. So do I not trade Neighbors and look and do instead of Mahomes, or do I get rid of Mahomes and try to pick up Allen and stitch off of?
I mean, the only thing I would say,
top 5. I
would be okay with this move if you were able to trade Mahomes, but what you're not going to be able to do because people are saying cut him. So, unfortunately, having these two guys with no wide receiver, it doesn't make any sense. Not to mention, if you're drafting today, even today, quarterbacks, even though and this is what I say in the offseason, this is when I say, hey, when the whistle blows and games start and draft season closes officially, trade season off of draft values closes, because a lot of people trade based on the draft value. If you have a draft, the next week you try and trade, someone goes, I just took him in the second round. Why would I trade him for your third rounder? People use the values, right? But as soon as the games start, week 1 kicks off, Josh Allen goes from a third rounder to a top 10 overall player. And I think that's where people get confused as to why I love early quarterback, and I always will. I'm not saying I always draft early quarterback, but there's a reason why if you identify the right quarterback. Now, Mahomes has been a big miss this year, but he was also going in the 4th round. You know, so even if Mahomes turns it around, he could still earn back his 4th round value to a degree with a very strong finish or something. But Josh Allen, you need to deliver if you take him in the 3rd round, and especially the top of the 3rd round, and he absolutely has. So even though this seems crazy from a draft perspective to accept trading Neighbors away for Josh Allen, the truth of the matter is Allen has Neighbors' value, the same value if you're valuing trades today. The problem is I'd rather have Neighbors and Mahomes than have just Josh Allen, especially if you lost J-Mo. It doesn't make much sense to me to bulk up a QB and get decimated at wide receiver. It seems to me that you're better off banking on some resurgence here, or you figure out a way to move into a slightly doubted player.
And I have Cooper, too. I have Amari Cooper. So kind of don't know where that value could be, you know? If he can suffice for Neighbors, maybe. With Allen, with Neighbors, maybe.
Maybe isn't Mabley like a brand? Maybe it's Mabley.
Mabley.
All right, bro, I gotta go. Yeah, I would say right now, but if you could do this trade and then Mabley trade Mahomes for another player of some sort, a doubted player, you know, Nico Collins, for example, you know, something that like it's gonna reward you mightily later. Mabley. All right, later, bro.
All right, later, bro. Thank you.
Yeah. Sebastian, you're live.
Hey, Smitty, I'll just keep this real quick. Do we have anything on Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp? I found myself attending the LA game this upcoming Thursday, so I wanted to check in about that.
The last thing we heard from McVay today was that we were gonna he's unsure the volume that Cooper Kupp's gonna have this week, meaning that he's playing. Everybody's assuming, but we don't know if there's going to be limitations. We'll find out a little more this week. It sucks that it's a short week for him, you know, so I don't know. But Puka Nacua is probably still several weeks away from even like ramping up. But there's a possibility that Puka's back like when Christian McCaffrey's back or slightly after that. But it's hard to say. Some speculate Puka's going to be out a lot longer. Some speculate that, you know, this and that. But the truth of the matter is until he's ready to test everything, and he might be doing that behind closed door, like we don't really know, but we'll find out a little bit more, I think, in the coming week or two. But I wouldn't expect him on the field because look at Kupp, he's back, but then he's not ready. You know what I mean? It takes some ramp up. You can't just throw somebody out there and expect it. Unless we hear later, like Kupp has been actually pretty, like there's some things that can happen behind closed doors. But I would expect Cooper Kupp to come back this week with some limitations, but still maybe those limitations are only, you know, resting him. He's gassed and he's still in anytime they're near the goal line and he's scoring 1 or 2 touchdowns in 60 yards or something. Like I couldn't sit Cooper Kupp if he's playing. I think I'd find a way to put him in my flex spot no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope to see a quality game, and I hope these Rams get off to a better second half of the year, man. But have a good one, all right?
All right, later, Sebastian. Appreciate you. All right, I got a few more phone calls, then I'm going straight to these Super Chats, which are piling up. I know you guys are waiting patiently. I put them all on screen as they've come in, so you've seen your Super Chat at least get in line. I put it to the back if it came in fresh. Jason from Cali, and then over to Anthony, and then back to Travis, and then we're closing the phone lines. Jason from Cali, you're live.
All right, Smitty. So, number one, I dropped Rachaad White 2 weeks ago because he was just unplayable at this point. I got this weird gut feeling this week before, like Thursday night or something, that with, you talking about Mike Evans having a hamstring hurt and shit, I'm like, hey, you know what? It might be good to pick him up, and I really don't want to regret dropping him and having someone else pick him up and beat me by like 30. So I picked him back up. What the hell do I do with his value, number one? Number two, just to pipe in, I like Sterling Shepard's value in the offense and the way that they've been playing. I think he's the number one Tampa wide receiver that we could pick up off waivers. Obviously, Keon's better. I heard some people in deep leagues talking about it. Plus, he has that Oklahoma connection with Baker Mayfield. So, runs that slot well. And then, just wanted your thoughts on Rachaad White moving forward. Do I play him over Tank Dell? I got a goose egg out of Tank Dell and Debo this week. Might not see Debo for a couple of weeks. So I'm just I also have Bigsby, who I benched. I'm just not even sure.
I mean, you're starting Bigsby over all those guys. But if we're talking about Rachaad White, look, being a good receiving back that he is, no matter what, he's going to get run. So I'm comfortable with Rachaad White moving forward with the injuries to the wide receiver room. Sterling Shepard could. The way injuries work in the NFL is sometimes like a player goes down, right? And the person that's been in there getting more touches doesn't necessarily become the guy. Sometimes it's about what position can you fill. That's like when Puka went down, it was like Whittington. We thought, and then that wasn't his role, and then you don't end up seeing the guy you think you expect to see. So I will preface that in saying that Sterling Shepard could get more run than McMillan when the opportunity arises versus when the opportunity's not there. McMillan's getting 8 targets. But look at McMillan at the bottom right of the screen. 8 targets, 3 receptions, 15 yards. Sterling Shepard had 1 target, 1 reception for 15 yards. Again, that can change based on the actual slot that he's going to play with an injury occurring. But there is something to say that McMillan got 8 targets. I would venture to say McMillan's the guy, but it's hard to say. It really is hard to say because of what I just mapped out. And like I said, Rachaad White is a fantastic play going forward, given his ability to catch the football. Even if they decide to use all their running backs, they might have Rachaad White and at slot, and they might have Bucky Irving in the backfield consistently. There might be a whole bunch of that going on. So I even feel very decent about putting Bucky Irving in, depending on how bad you're hurting at certain positions. All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Peace out, Smitty.
Anthony from Tucson, from Tucson. What's up, Anthony? Fellow Arizonian.
Hey. I haven't heard anything about Troy Franklin. I just wanted to know if you're any thoughts on him or leave him on the waiver wire.
Yeah, I guess I should put him on the list. I like him. I think Franklin's an interesting prospect. Troy Franklin had, let me pull up his stats from last week. I think he had 5 or 6 targets, right? Yeah, he had 50 yards. Yeah, he should be on the list, but I don't know if I feel like he's prime time ready yet, but maybe I'll put him on here for sure. I mean, it's a good ad for sure. I always like when you guys tell me that there should be another addition to the waiver wire board. If I was to slot him live right now, I'd say he deserves to be. We'll move Means down. Means doesn't mean as much business as we thought. Lazard's probably still ahead of him. I think Wilson can go down. We'll put Lazard up. I think Pop Douglas can go down. We'll put Lazard up even higher than that. I think you could put Franklin about where Lazard is or slightly below Lazard, but maybe Wandell above Leggett right now. Wicks is still entertaining. Juju being hurt, we're going to put him down here. We'll put it like this. So that's kind of how I view the wide receiver board. So Franklin's in the top 5, 6, 7, I guess. So that's a good addition for me to put him there already. So good call.
Cool. All right.
All right, bro. Later. Travis, any final thoughts before I get to these super chats that are piling up? Alec, thank you.
Quick in that same vein of doing trades. Like I said, I'm 6-1. Would you trade Monty and BTJ to get Bijan?
Monty, I'm going to say no already, but Monty and BTJ for Bijan. God, as much as I love what Bijan's doing right now, and I'm so excited. I hope I'm wrong on this take. I hope I'm dead wrong. But I think BT, like the fact that I think we still all carry some PTSD. I think we still don't fully know that we're out of the woods yet. I think because BT could have a cup of coffee with Bijan, he really could. And because Monty could have a cup of coffee with Bijan, meaning they're not so far apart that there isn't a world where BT outscores Bijan moving forward or Monty outscores Bijan moving forward. So the fact that you have two pieces here, so much safer. Monty, BT, not even a question, even from a Bijan guy.
So what about Brees instead of Bijan? Does that change it for you at all, or are you still?
I think I get Hall, but that's tough. Yeah. I think I get Hall. I'd take Kyron. I'd take Barkley.
Okay.
I'd probably take Lamb, and I'd try to get something. I'd probably take JJ, try and get something.
I have JJ, but yeah.
We might start getting to the point where BT and Monty's kind of too tall in order. That package is pretty nice.
Right, once you start going down. All right, and the last question was, do you like Monty or Jacobs rest of the season? You still got Monty above Jacobs right now?
Yeah, Monty over Jacobs. And that's where it's so funny that people like come at me with my Gibbs take and they're like, Smitty hates Monty. I can't even describe how many times I say that a show even. Especially if I'm talking about Gibbs. I almost 100% always say, let me make 1 point. This is a top 8 to 14. I think his value goes out of the running back ones, but also dips in. I would not call him a high-end running back one or even a locked-in running back one. I'd call him a floating running back that floats in between running back one. So 8 to 14, let's call it.
Yeah.
8 to 4. He can score like this. He can score like that. And honestly, like, you're going to be very happy that you have him on your roster. He's super solid.
I'm not quite sure why, but I feel like people, when they start to hear outside of the top 10, like they start to think like, oh, I don't want him on my team. But it's like, if you have a top 15 running back, that's highly valuable, especially now with all the injuries and stuff. So.
Yeah. What a lot of times
right,
it is
thanks,
too.
Smitty.
Yeah, what a lot of times it is too, though, real quick, is that there are people that own him. Like, the people chirping are the ones that own that player, and they want you to respect the player more. It makes them feel better. They want to hear me say, like, if I said Monty's a top 5 running back going forward, you'd have 5 or 6 of the people that would normally chirp at me going, that's right, Smitty, damn straight, like, because they own him. Like, that's the thing they want to hear most. Yeah. They want me to come out here and go, any of their players are the top 5 at their position going forward, whatever. So I get it, but the negative people are always loud, and so they seem like there's a massive amount of them, but it's really 4 or 5 people just barking. It's like they go to the front of the line, they're barking, and you don't realize that behind them is nobody's doing what they're doing. All right, we'll see you later. All right, let's get to these super chats. The first one is this $20 hauler from Dat Dude. He says, Smitty, help me. Big homie, sitting at 2-5. Is my season done? Love, Hill, MHJ, Neighbors, Nico, Aaron Jones, Bijan. No, Brian. Sorry, that's always disappointing. Although Brian's good. He's playing good. Brian Robinson, Bigsby, and Goddard. You got Doodle and Madison. Look for a trade. Sit tight. Look, Neighbors and Nico. It's really good. Bigsby stepping up. Man, Hill's been on a total 6-week bye. So I mean, MHJ disappointment. I wish you could have come out of this game saying I got something in MHJ. We're ready to rumble now that Hill's got Tua back. Let's go. I would say you don't have much trade bait though, unfortunately, because Neighbors dropped a kind of a dud of a game. Hill has been horrible. You can't sell him high, although I do think he'll bounce back. MHJ, horrible game. You got nothing you could sell high anyway. I would say you're hanging tight because there's nothing you can do. but you'll be a team that I think can definitely make a run and a comeback. So let's let some of those boys gain value. Let's swing back in next week. I hate to not give you like a really good piece of advice on trade, but I'd be doing you a disservice by telling you to sell those guys low. Aaron Jones maybe for JT injured, and then you just do a 1-for-1 swap and you get the player that might be better. Achane straight up for Aaron Jones. Those are the two moves. You know what? I think those are pretty good. Aaron Jones in a smaller piece to get Lamb from somebody sleeping. I mean, look, there's a lot of people that don't value Lamb right now. They think Dak and the Cowboys are so bad that Lamb's not going to be a top 5 wide receiver. So try for those using Aaron Jones because Aaron Jones has a great value. Don't give Aaron Jones away specific players that you're gonna bank on, right? Like even JT's kind of risky to trade Aaron Jones for JT. Aaron Jones had his bye week already. You know, there's some concern there to do that, but there's also upside that you might need. Don't have a question, just want some prayers, says Matt. Matt, we're sorry about what's going on with whatever is going on with your situation. I imagine it's Godwin related. Smitty, Henry made that 25-point to win me the game. Attaboy. We knew you were close to getting that done, pal. Congrats on the win. Sam, 6-1, rate my team. Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Jacobs, Jamar Chase, Scary Terry, Njoku, Dell, BT. Should I make any changes or keep the team? Most points scored so far. I think that tells you to kind of hold, bro. The only thing I would look to do, keep Josh Allen, keep Henry, keep Jamar Chase, keep Scary Terry, keep BT, is maybe you're trying to sell Terry and Jacobs for Achane, but you're going to have to go after a doubted player. JT injured, Achane. I say JT injured, and I always emphasize injured so that you understand you're buying him low. You're buying him hurt. You can't go in there going, I'll trade for your JT's draft value. You got to trade for JT injured. Tyreek Hill would be fantastic using Jacobs and let's say Dell, but I don't think you're going to get that pulled off. Njoku, you go pick up another tight end and say, even though you found one that you think is solid, you still make that move to get Hill on the roster. Past that, I am standing down because that team's pretty damn good, broski. Pretty damn good. Would you package Hunt and Garrett Wilson for Tyreek? I would. If I could afford it. Hunt's super solid, though. Garrett Wilson, good, but like shaky, man. Tyreek Hill could be a top 5 overall player. Tyreek Hill getting Tua back, you either believe it's going to get him back to where he was or it won't. And if it doesn't, it was a good gamble to take, in my opinion. I would try and get more. I really would. I would try and send Swift instead of Hunt, to be honest with you. You might think I'm crazy, but I'd rather have Hunt than Swift. But, that also could change if Pacheco comes back. So, I don't know. Maybe hold off on that part. Maybe I'm a little too excited about Kareem Hunt's value right now. Kind of like Mason's is cloudier every week we get closer to CMC's return. Regardless if CMC's back to form, Hunt could lose some allure. But I also think there's a shot Pacheco doesn't come back, or he doesn't come back until the playoffs. Would you trade away MHJ and Pollard for Gibbs? I would take Gibbs and run, and I don't think, Ethan, you can even get that done. Like, who in their right mind would trade away a great playing Gibbs for a bad playing MHJ and a bad playing Pollard? I have CD, Nico, London. Let me know if you get it done, though, Ethan, because you'll be the wizard of the day if you can pull that off. Just Sherman, appreciate you. Just traded Godwin Ford for two weeks ago. Godwin and Ford for 2 weeks ago. Godwin for what, though? Just traded Godwin Ford for 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you're trading him like what you got, though, but congrats on whatever move you made. I said that Mike Evans shouldn't have played, says Rise Above. You're not alone, bro. I don't know why they run these players out there with injuries that are absolutely not going to get better playing at the physical level of a running back and wide receiver. I meant Godwin Ford for Tyreek. That is a fantastic trade, Sherman. Absolutely amazing job. Tyler says thoughts on grabbing Bateman and Burrow. No, hold on. What does this say? Tyler, you need to work on your... This is the 4th super chat in a row where we don't know what in the hell you're trying to say. Thoughts on grabbing Bateman and no is Otters an auto start. Let's have the computer make sense of this because I don't know what in the hell it's trying to say here. You either got the worst spell check in the world, or I need to back off because there might be a reason.
Tyler Sperry Super Chip $4.99 from Tyler Sperry. Though odds on grabbing Batman and KN now is Otters the auto start I have Ferguson.
You had a what? A Ferguson? That doesn't sound family friendly. A Ferguson. I don't know what in the hell that is. But okay. Let's try and decode this. It says thoughts on grabbing Bateman. Okay, that's fine. I'm not opposed to that. And no is Otters an auto start. Have Ferguson. You have Ferguson, I think is what you're trying to say, and is Otten a automatic start? I'm going to say Ferguson still probably right there with him, but Otters does get into the mix for sure. I think what you have is a trade scenario on your hands. You can trade Otten, a.k.a. Otters, and put Ferguson, a.k.a. Ferguson, into the lineup or vice versa. Won my week because of Baker by 0.4 point difference. Nice job, Messiah, doing it live. I'm on Raw to the moon, absolutely.
Legend has it if you say St. Brown 3 times in the dark in the bathroom, you will immediately lose your league.
Did Tyler explain what was going on with that? One time somebody said they had an issue with, using an automated typer because they couldn't see, and I felt bad. But I'm not sure if that's just Tyler just, spitballing his messages over and over. I'm here for the LAC and Bulls rant. Blake, I mean, I kind of already went on a rant in terms of why they played Evans. And I think I did go off on Harbaugh already. So Blake, appreciate you being here for the ranting and raving. But losing my week because Kyler can't see a wide open MHJ again hurts me to the deep of my core. 3-4, here we come. Tony, I'm sorry, bro. I wish I could do something. I wish I could go out there and put the ball in MHJ's hands. He's wide open. He's literally wide open for a touchdown. I mean, you know how we would all come in here if MHJ had a 50-yard touchdown catch. I don't care if he just finished with like the 65, 70 yards and a touch on 4 receptions or whatever, just that one extra play. We would all come in here pressing the button. We'd be praising his name. He's the future king. But like that one play that Kyler didn't see, and now he's benchable, which I think is an important thing to just kind of absorb. That you're one play away. Tank Dell had 2 touchdown targets. One hit his hands. The other one was like out of reach, but I think he might have tipped it. Both are the fault of Stroud, but had he caught one or both of those, we'd be in here pressing the Tank Deli button. We'd be in here saying he's a lock next week. We just have to keep in mind, we can't keep apologizing for people. I get it. We can't be apologists. We have to be recognizers of the situation, not just the player's talent. So I'm not trying to defend either one. I'm just merely trying to tell you that the tide can shift very quickly. Smitty, thank you for helping us in all fantasy, good and bad. I am so grateful for your help. Thank you, Terry. I'm grateful for you, pal. Received this offer. Trade away Jacobs and Amari for Achane and Olave. I smashed the hell out of that trade. I'd be tempted to do that even just for Achane, bro. You're crushing that trade. This one here from Sam. 6-1 rate. The team, Josh Allen, Henry, Jacobs, Terry, and Joku Delby. Oh, I already did this one. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you dropping the super chat. Jedi. Appreciate you. Trading for Chase. Manager lost Godwin and has Puka on IR. Needs wide receivers and running backs. I have Garrett Wilson, McLaurin, Bigsby, Chase Brown. How do I package prayers for Godwin? I'm probably going to say you're sending Garrett Wilson and Chase Brown and Garrett Wilson, Bigsby for Jamar Chase. Anything. McLaurin and Chase Brown. McLaurin and Bigsby for Chase. I'd probably do that. I would try to keep McLaurin. I'd try and trade Garrett Wilson over McLaurin. And I'd try and trade, believe it or not, Chase Brown over Bigsby. I'd rather keep Bigsby. So try and keep those pieces, meaning the ideal trade is Garrett Wilson and Chase Brown. But, you know, mix in the other one of the other two one by one before you have to give up the exact two that I don't want you to trade. But certainly would do any combination. JD5, AR5, JJ, Neighbors, Amon-Ra. Who goes to the moon?
Legend has it if you say St. Brown 3 times in the dark in the bathroom, you will immediately lose your league.
So definitely love Amon-Ra. Goes to the freaking moon. I'm worried about MHJ. Do I hold or sell? I mean, who are you going to sell MHJ for, bro? Who's going to buy MHJ? It's like saying, you know, hey, this house has termites all over it. It's completely toast. I'm thinking I should get out of here. Should I sell it? Like, I mean, you got to wait, bro. You got to wait. Maybe the termites move on. I don't know. If you could do some sort of like... I don't know. I love your team, though. I think your team's really, really solid. I just don't think the tradable pieces... I'm keeping the receivers. You got JD5. You got Kamara and Achane. You're fine. You know, maybe for Puka, take a gamble that way. Nico and Puka, the injured players, or maybe Debo, disappointing Debo. DVO, I think those are your 3 players. Debo, Nico, Puka, maybe Cooper Kupp too. Those are your disappointing players to attack. JT, but you're not going to get probably all of those. You'll get maybe one. Traded away Kyler, Pollard, and Dobbs for Hurts and Devonta Smith. Trade away Kyler, Pollard, and Dobbs for, yeah, Devonta Smith and Hurts. You crush him. Highway robbery. Alec, appreciate you. Would you trade my Bucky and Kincaid for Connor? I probably would. Connor's playing out of his mind. And he looks great. He runs so tough. McMillan value with Godwin injury on the waiver wire ranking. You've seen this, I'm sure. So McMillan goes to the, we don't have McMillan on here. That's what I was going to do, and I didn't add him. So we'll probably put him right here. Thank you for reminding me. I went to go do it, and I didn't actually put it on there. I'm going to put McMillan and Dobbs kind of in the same vein here, and we'll probably move, I don't know that Naylor's even, we'll put Naylor down here. So that means I got to move all these one by one. I'm sorry. So let's move all these guys down. Watson, Dobbs, Tillman. Let's go Tillman. I'd say maybe this feels about right for Tillman. Pearsall, McMillan. That's about right. Good call, bro. I don't know why I didn't have him on there. I went to go do it, and then I got sidetracked and started, I think, ranting and raving about something. Probably Harbaugh. I blame Harbaugh for everything. The number 1 in our league has Ayuk and Godwin. Oh, bro. Down goes Frazier. Are you saying there's a chance? Bro, that Daniel. I'm not trying to celebrate that for you because injuries are involved, but that's definitely a break that you needed to win. Rodgers, Dak, Mason, Henry, Kamara, Bigsby, Chase Brown, CMC, Terry, Deontay, Adams. Trade my Dak and Henry and Adams for JD5H and JJ. Woo! Doggy. DK, Henry, Adams. I take JD5, HN, and JJ. That's really good. Other trades, honestly, you pull that off. I don't know that there's a lot I would even, other than like Bigsby and Deontay or Bigsby and Terry for like Hill, Lamb. You're going to have HN, so you don't need him. And Bijan, potentially JT. Those guys I would definitely still target that combo. Yeah. Lost Rice and now Evans. I'm sorry, Jungle. It's tough, bro. That's why you got to play in multiple leagues, and that's why you got to play Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Underdog will match your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. So I'll drop that link in the live chat. Make sure you're playing Underdog and drafting each week individually, so you have some skin in the game no matter what's happening. There really is no reason for you to tail off and not watch football anymore, because you can draft a week 8 team in week 8. You can draft a week 9 team in week 9. All the knowledge you know now, you can take into an Underdog draft and get that match. If you do the minimum of $10, they give you $5. You do $100, they give you $50. So get that match. They'll give you a bonus pick in your account. So do it live. JD5, 5-2, Kyron, Monty, Mason, Sharbs, Amon-Ra.
Stock on the rise.
Laporta.
Stock on the rise.
Gibbs.
Stock on the rise.
Monty.
Stock on the rise.
Good team. Guy who has Hill wants Amon-Ra and Aaron Jones. I bet he does. Why don't we just say no? I mean, Amon-Ra, bro, just...
Stock on the rise.
No reason to even go near that. I like Hill, but he's a risky play. He's risky, and unless he gives you Hill and how about this? He wants him, sure. Hill and Kenneth Walker for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Doesn't like it, tough. Throw in something small, sure. But you also could try and do Mason. I don't think you can do, because I was thinking, like, what if you did a Mason and Amon-Ra for Hill and Kenneth Walker and something, but like McLaurin. But I think I'd rather just not go near it. I don't think you need to. I'm trying to turn Mason into Kenneth Walker, though. Like, if you could give up Slayton, or I'd even... This is where I toy around with Kittle and I say, can I suffice at tight end? I know he's been exploding, but Kittle does these droughts, and I almost love to play off that personally, but that's me. I'm wild. I think the average person should probably stand down. The crazy person would explore getting Kenneth Walker or Hill using Kittle in a piece that's not one of your big dogs. Or Kittle and Amon-Ra for Walker. Or no, I'm sorry, Amon-Ra. Yeah, I don't know. Stand down. Your team is looking good. 10-team PPR. I have Allen, Cousins, James Cook, Jacob Swift, Mason, Brooks, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Mooney Tank. Traded Reed to get Debo McBride. I don't hate that. I think Debo's still going to be very, very good once he's back from his hospital stay. I guess the problem here is James Cook, who's buying him right now. Touchdown, but like he's not exactly, I think, hot commodity. Mason, I'd maybe try and trade Mason and Swift together. Jacobs and Mason together to get H.N., JT. Throw Brooks in to try and get a Tyreek Hill deal going. Maybe Garrett Wilson, Tyreek Hill for Swift and a running back upgrade, or Mason and an upgrade at running back, Derek. I think those are avenues I'd explore. Other options don't have to be this guy. I love look. The buy lows again are going to be Hill, Lamb. Can't get Bijan cheap anymore. JT. See if I can cook up a couple other names for you real quickly that I think would make some sense for you. I'd probably say Cooper Kupp and Debo. Neighbors coming off the bad game. People just worrying the hell about him. Kamara. JT, I said. H.N., I said. I think that's it, bro. Those are the top guys to mix in. What do I do here? I'm thinking I'm fine at 5-2. Got Baker, Bijan. I want a different quarterback, that's for sure, because Baker's got no one now. Bijan, H.N., Nico. Bijan, H.N., Nico, great. Godwin, Devontae Smith. It sucks you got hit with Godwin, bro. Pitts, Brown. I assume that's Chase Brown. I'm trying to get Mahomes, bro. Let everybody else freak out about that. But like Baker without his 2 wide receivers, I don't know. Maybe he still cooks enough. I don't know. I don't think he will, but that's me. I like your team. I think you'll be okay. I'm just trying my best to get Baker upgraded a tiny bit. Even Dak or Kyler potentially could be an upgrade right now. I certainly would go trade for Mahomes if I was you. He's worth the gamble in your situation. Look, he's playing great. Like, fantasy-wise, no. But could that turn around? I do believe it can, for sure. And I think they're going to be active at the trade deadline, but we'll see. Cowing on waiver list. Yeah, Cowing should probably be on it, but I don't know how high. Let me see. I did have him on here. Did he get bumped down? Means, I don't know. We'll put Means over here. He didn't mean Means business at all. I think maybe Cowing goes like where Juju is. I don't really think I think Pierce is maybe better than him. Not talent-wise necessarily, but just like positionally. Seems like I think Cowing's pretty good. I don't know why the Niners didn't use him or haven't used him this year. I think he's really good. Who do I keep? Pearsall or Super Bowl Juju? Probably Pearsall right now because Juju's injured. Kareem Hunt and a sell high candidate. Yeah, it depends. Like if I'm trying to upgrade, sure. Is Auden an auto start? I have Ferguson. There you go, Tyler. I think they're both around the same. I think trying to anticipate him outperforming Ferguson on the regular is a tall order just because his wide receivers went down. I think he'll have an uptick for sure, but I think they're very arguable. I think I just trade one. The tight end market's so bleak. I think you'll have trading partners pretty easily, and I'd trade whichever one got me more. Like go after Tyreek Hill, go after Achane, go after these guys now by adding Auden or Ferguson with a player and solve someone's tight end situation that's causing them nightmares. Went on a date for once. What did I miss? Horrible slew of injuries. My guy, Brandon. Make sure you restart the show. Appreciate your super chat. Restart the show and watch the anger build on this channel for all the injuries. AK, appreciate your blank super chat. You're the man, the myth, the legend. Make a Bigsby animation. Probably will look to do that hopefully at some point. Trade Evans and Bigsby for Kamara and Jennings. Before this weekend, traded Evans and Bigsby. Traded Evans and Bigsby for Kamara and Jennings before this weekend. I mean, bro, Evans. I think I'd rather Kamara and Jennings right now. Evans being out, maybe multiple games, have B-Rob and Bijan. AJ Wicks, Adunze. Waiver for Coleman. Coleman's going to be a nice addition for you. I think I'd probably rather. I can't afford to have Evans be out 3-4 weeks, and we don't know if that's the case. Also traded Lamar and James Conner for Allen and Cooper. I mean, right now Lamar's playing at Allen's level, if not higher, right tonight. But I mean, overall, go forward. I'd rather have Allen over Lamar by a hair, but they're damn close. Lamar's playing outstanding football. And James Conner may be equal, or you could say better than Cooper. Maybe the Lamar side wins. I think they're both good. I wouldn't lose sleep over being on either side of that fence, though. Suffering from some success. Start 3 with Amari, Amon-Ra, McLaurin, and Jaden Reed. Don't ever come on this show again, Ryan, and ask me if you should start Amon-Ra St. Brown. I will tell him you said it, and I think you need to go into the bathroom.
Legend has it if you say St. Brown 3 times in the dark in the bathroom, you will immediately lose your league.
Start 2 is what you meant to say of Amari, McLaurin, or Reed. I'm going to go Reed and McLaurin. I like Amari. I'm not saying that you won't live to regret benching these guys week to week because getting them right is going to be tough, but I do know I'm not sitting McLaurin and I'm not sitting Amon-Ra. My super chat got skipped. First one of the stream, says Ryan. Let's see about that, Ryan. If not, we're sending you on a lap. Ryan, we do not see this super chat. The only super chat you have is this one right here. So it's always a claim. There is no super chat. Amari Cooper for Hunt. Hopkins got Pacheco on IR. I'd rather have, if I need a wide receiver, I'm okay with Cooper. If I need a running back, I'm okay with Hunt. Hopkins doesn't do much for me. I do monitor him in case he gets traded to KC, but who the hell knows? I have Debo if out, Ricky, or Jennings. I'm going to go Jennings if he's healthy because, look, he exploded this year. He's the guy that knows the system. They trust him. With Godwin down, I need a wide receiver, but I like Pearsall. I like them both. My team is Kamara, Monra, Mason, MHJ, Monty, Otten, Andrews. Maybe you're trading one of those tight ends who had great days. Both of them had great days today. Baker, Murray, Pearsall. Who should I package or hang tight? I'm probably trying to trade Mason with one of those tight ends to get an HN, to get a JT. You need to get out of that Mason value probably, I think. I feel like it's probably the best move. Is Jalen McMillan worth a pickup with Godwin and Evans out? We've covered that a lot, but the answer is yes, but it depends on your situation. He's certainly not somebody you can expect to go crazy, but he's certainly somebody that could be serviceable for sure. Ryan, here's your second super chat. Trade Pacheco for Debo? Absolutely, bro. Debo's going to be one of the best buy lows this week, even if he's out for week number 8, because guess what? He's now the top wide receiver bona fide once he is back. And as much as people want to blame him for not being out there, like he had pneumonia, he has fluid in his lungs. I'm pissed off about Shanahan not letting us know this was going down. It's Shanahan's fault, but it doesn't mean that Debo when on the field isn't going to be amazing. You know, so absolutely, 100%. Do it twice. $4.99 super chat, 2 and 5, 12 man, 1 PPR. Just snapped a 5L streak. Wow. Hurts, HN, Gibbs, AJB, Cooper, Amari Cooper, Kincaid, Chase Brown. Great team, bro. Nice job. And honestly, I wouldn't touch this team. HN bye week free. Hurts bye week free. Gibbs bye week free. AJB bye week free. Cooper Cup. Amari Cooper. Kincaid coming around. Chase Brown. Nice value. Worthy is there for the help for any bye weeks or injuries. And I think Worthy now becoming the number 1 wide receiver for sure. And that KC offense is going to do some things. Jonathan, I don't touch this team. You're a victim of a lot of things injury and bye week related, bro. Things are going to turn around for you. Greatly, I believe. Greatly, my guy. Fantastic. I'm excited for you. I want you to check in each week as you get one win at a time. And I want you to say, Smitty, I'm the 0 and 5 team. And look at, I've now got this. I want you to remind me that you're the guy that super chatted that. 10 team, 2 and 5, shaking my head. Allen, Murray, BT, Dell, Worthy, MHJ, Bateman, Walker, Monty, Mason, CMC, Bigsby, Brooks, McBride, Ferguson. 10 team, 2 and 5. But God, MHJ, it's such a disappointment, bro. And you know, Monty going down didn't help. You've been hit with CMC. You've been hit with a lot, bro. You've been hit with a lot. I would probably say stay the course for the most part because you can't really sell any of this high. You got to wait it out. Unless I could trade like CMC and Mason for Gibbs was the play. Maybe HN and something for CMC and Mason. I'd try that. Maybe JT and something for CMC and Mason. I would try that. There's some good pieces to this team. Worthy should come around. BT's fantastic. Josh Allen's fantastic. I think Dell will come around, but, you know, I understand. Walker's great. Bigsby's getting on his horse. Maybe Bigsby and MHJ for a Hill. You know, maybe Bigsby and... I mean, you could trade Mason and CMC for Lamb and then give up like a Brooks for a player that's better than Brooks that helps you justify the CMC trade into the down bad playing Lamb. So you're doing a 2-for-2 where you're getting a great player with Lamb for your CMC, Mason, and Brooks or something like that. Attack that.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
30-second calls only. No full team evals or I'll hang up on you. What else? What other news we have? We talked about this DK's day to day, or week to week. Ayuk's out for the year. Godwin, probably broken foot ankle. It says fractured, but we'll see. We'll see if it's not broken. There's got to be. I highly doubt it's just fractured or just dislocated. There's got to be something crazy going on. Taylor from Cincy, you're live.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
So, with JMO being suspended for a couple weeks, what are we thinking that does for Laporta?
Up a value stock on the rise.
Stock on the rise.
You know, for sure. I like
Yeah.
Laporta a lot. I still think people are, you know, they hate on him, and that's fine. I'm glad. I'm glad there's a tight end out there that is low value that I think could be the number 1, number 2, number 3 tight end. Expectations are really high, which is going to make the disappointment even higher. So I think he could be had.
Yeah, for sure. Going against Titans, which this week, like, they're really good against tight ends for some reason.
Well, they're going to mix things up, and the Lions are different than most teams. So I have a feeling this could be a game that people go, wow. You know? But yeah, Kamara, MHJ, and Hawkinson too much for Ja'Marr Chase. No, I would do all that for Ja'Marr Chase personally. What about you, Taylor? Would you take Kamara, MHJ, Hawkinson, or Ja'Marr Chase?
I mean, if you're winning with MHJ and Kamara, I wouldn't take it. But if you're not winning with those guys and you can get that insane top 3 wide receiver, you go after that guy, you know?
I agree. All right, bro. Anything else?
Yeah, like, if you can sell depth in Laporta for, like, a top 5 tight end, like a Bowers or a Kittle right now, would you do that? I'm assuming that's, like, a no-brainer, but...
Laporta for Bowers or Laporta for Kittle? Yeah, you kind of have to. But I think Laporta's right there after those guys. Like, I'm buying him and expecting him. But you can buy him lower. You know, you can buy him lower than Kittle, so you have to. But I expect that he could be there. All right, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you.
215, where are you calling from? 215, and what's your name?
Name's Sonny, calling from Philadelphia.
Sonny?
Oh, Tony.
Tony from Philly. Okay, Tony, what can I do for you?
Yep. Would you trade Neighbors for Tyreek Hill?
Neighbors for Tyreek Hill. Probably not. But I feel like that's because I think most people know that his trade value, even though it's fluctuating a little bit, and the concussions didn't help, and then the bad game didn't help, and now we don't know what's going on with his QB room and all that. I think it definitely lowered his value. But I feel like if I'm doing this, because Hill's been so bad, and Tua could get one shot to the head again, and he's out for the year, there's some risk level. It's not like Hill's automatically returning to top 5 overall form. I kind of like where you're going with this, especially if you need a move. But I feel like even if it's not a 2-for-1 where you get Hill and something, maybe a creative 2-for-2 helps you get a little something else to make sure you're not getting rid of a player that his next contest, he has 150 yards and 10 receptions and 0 touchdowns. Boy, everyone's like, oh my God, he's top 5 again. And then now all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's got to be something you can do 2-for-2. But I don't mind where you're going with this if you need a move. If you're not winning with Neighbors, you have Neighbors, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have Neighbors?
Yes, he's my number 1 receiver, yes.
And what's your record?
My record right now, well, it was 3-3. Now I am 3-4.
Yeah, so you're not winning with him necessarily. So yeah, trading him for 2 players makes sense. Or like I said, a creative 2-for-2. And like an example of this will be something along the lines of you're getting Hill and you're getting, let's call it Achane, and you're giving away Swift. You know, or if someone loves Swift and they don't want to get rid of Swift for Achane, whatever the case, you know, you can make that argument. You're giving up Rachaad White, who just had a really good game, but there's still a lot of ambiguity around that situation. Give me Achane. Or maybe we're talking along the lines of a Hill and let's call it JT, and Hill and JT for Travis. It's not let me add the call, so call right when Tony hangs up. Neighbors and something. What do you have in your roster? Like, name like 4 or 5 guys that you potentially trade.
Okay, so I'm in a 16-team league. So I have Neighbors. I have Brees Hall. I have
It's okay. You know what I'm saying. Just go looking for
Yeah.
Hill. Go to this Hill owner. See what else he has. Try and concoct some sort of 2-for-2 that gives up a player that might seem to be equal, but you see the swap as advantageous, and then I'm okay with you doing it. Just make sure you're getting an advantageous second player swap in the 2-for-2. All right,
Jaden Reed's my second receiver.
All right, man. Yeah,
All right,
call back
appreciate
if you have a tangible 2-for-2. All right, later. All right, try calling in now, Travis. It wouldn't let me. Some callers, it's weird how it won't let me add second calls. I don't know why. This one here from CJ. 2-5 last place. Dak AR5, Hall, Kyron. Hall and Kyron's fantastic. Debo, Bigsby, Devontae Smith. That's a tough one. I'm gonna probably say this is a tough trade to potentially or a tough team to potentially trade away something, because I don't want you getting rid of Hall. I don't want you getting rid of Kyron. I don't want you getting rid of Debo on the decreased value. You know what I'm saying? I like Laporta. You can't sell him high. Devontae Smith, you can't sell him high right now because he just had a flop. This is a team that I kind of feel like you were hit pretty hard with the AR5 hanging on for dear life, and it kept screwing you until you decided to jump off the ship. And then Dak hasn't been any better, but I think Dak turns around. You've been hit hard by the bye week of Kyron, the Debo Samuel injury on top of this game that just happened, the Dell situation, Devontae Smith like there's hope here for you. You've got Gibbs is available. I don't know. I mean, I love Gibbs, but the only thing I would even consider doing is like, let's say you were to trade Kyron for Gibbs and you were able to upgrade Dell or Devontae Smith into a Lamb. Like, you're doing something weird like that. I'm okay giving up Kyron or giving up Hall into a Gibbs, which I believe is still a top 5 running back. Apparently, a lot of people don't. If I'm upgrading massively at wide receiver, or even a Tyreek Hill, let's say you got Tyreek Hill and Gibbs or something along those lines, or Neighbors or Kupp and Gibbs or whatever, 2 of these guys, then I would trade the number 1 or number 2, number 3 overall player in Kyron if you're not winning, and you're 2-5 here. So there's not a lot to do unless you're dividing that player into Gibbs and something, the Hall or the Kyron. Past that, I guess you could look at Bigsby with his big pop-off game and just see if you can sell Debo on the news that Ayuk's out for the year. And Debo's not ruled out for Week 8 yet. Maybe you could trade Bigsby and Debo for Gibbs. I don't know. Would I trade Bigsby for...
Maybe sell high on Kraft as well.
Yeah,
you go with Laporta.
You could, yeah. That's also not a bad add-in. I'd probably bank on Dak coming back and having a better go-forward season. I really think Dak is getting crapped on unnecessarily. It's not even his fault, but again, there could be we're becoming a Dak apologist 2 weeks from now because they just can't do anything, and it's, they set them up for failure and they continue to fail. That could be the case, but I'd take a gamble on Dak and CD doing work. So Smitty, Superflex 5-2, Mahomes, Walker, Achane, Dell, Chase, Worthy, Kelsey, Waddle. Like the team a lot. If I'm making any trades, it's probably going to be. I don't think you have a lot. I don't think I move anything. I think Achane and Walker, very sneaky running back room, and they're big names too. It's not like they're out of nowhere. I'm banking on Mahomes in your situation. because I still love what you got going on here. Ja'Marr Chase, Worthy, Kelsey, I get it. There's some ambiguity and some concern, but you're not selling Mahomes, Kelsey, and Worthy low. You get nothing for them. So you're going to take a gamble on those guys. Ride the Walker and Achane and Chase Dell train. Ja'Marr Chase train. Maybe, don't cut Dell. You could bench him, I suppose. Waddle getting Tua back will be good for Waddle. Would I maybe trade Waddle and, maybe you make a trade after week number 8 if Waddle bounces back, if Dell bounces back, if Worthy goes crazy. If, you have some of those things happen, then you got some more trade opportunities. Your team is better off waiting. And it's super flex, and you have Aaron Rodgers. I don't think, it's hard to trade for a quarterback in super flex leagues. It really is. It's like, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's very rare that it ever happens. I'm in a super flex league. I'm in 2 super flex leagues, expert leagues, and we have a quarterback trade maybe once every 3 years. Like, it's so hard to make a trade for a QB. I'd probably say, Aaron Rodgers doesn't deserve to be traded for right now. Like, you're not going to get anybody that's going to bite on that. I think the buy low QBs, you've got the biggest buy low QB in fantasy, especially in Superflex, and Mahomes. I think you're going to have to look to the wire, see if DTR's there, if Winston's there, you could grab both of them. I think if Fields gets dropped, you maybe grab him and hold him, because I think, as I said earlier, like Russell Wilson getting hurt at some point or failing is not out of the realm of possibility. I'm very much intrigued by what I saw Pittsburgh do as a whole, I'll admit, especially as the dust settled from the night. They played well in the second half. They really did. But they also, I think Russell Wilson escaped a disastrous night. Like if that's that really bad pass that hit I think the helmet of either Pickens or the defender, and Pickens grabbed it. If these things didn't go the right way, Russell Wilson would have been in a deficit and not able to do what he did. So I still want to see, especially against the Giants, I want to see Russell Wilson go out there and be efficient. But I think Fields is still a fantastic grab and hold. Fantastic grab and hold. In Superflex. And he'll be cut in a lot of leagues. Oh, hang tight, Travis. Let me just get through these real quick. Komet or Kincaid. I'd probably say, Kincaid's coming around. Travis asked me this the other night. I lean Kincaid, but Komet's certainly in the conversation. Stroud or Caleb? Honestly, right now, the answer is Caleb, but I think Stroud will come around. I don't know when, and I'm not willing to bet on when, because I need to see it happen. And maybe it does require Nico to come back. I don't know what's going on with Stroud right now, but he's playing like garbage. Is half of it coaching? Maybe. Hard to say. 5 and 2 PPR moves, suggestions. QB, Darnold, Richardson, Bijan, Mixon, Ferguson, and Joku. You got 2 tight ends. You could try and shop that. You could sell Pickens high. You could sell Amari high. Doesn't mean they're not going to do well or continue to, but you always want to look to sell these guys when they're popping off if you need to make moves. Mixon, I don't like selling them, but if you need to make moves, you do that. You're 5 and 2 VSAN, so you're not really falling in that category. I would say if I'm you, I'd try and buy Mahomey on the cheap just to put him in the arsenal. If you want to keep starting Darnold, I get it, but I think he's pretty cheap. He'll be easy to get. I think your team's pretty decent. Do I think you have the best team in the league? I'd probably say no. I'd probably say, Bijan, Mixon, Connor, Darnold, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, Pickens, Ferguson, and Joku. It's very solid, but I would say that you're at least one big move away. Big move trades would be Connor and let's say a Pickens for an Achane or a JT and he pops back off, a Tyreek Hill, a CeeDee Lamb. Those guys would help make this team, I think, put it over the top and be super competitive with the other squads. Juwan Jennings to Mars, maybe. One of the 2 receivers are going to do really well. Send DJ Moore and Najee and JSN for Pacheco and Debo. I'd probably say this is pretty arguable. It could go either way, bro. I mean, Debo's going to be fantastic once he's back, but does he miss a game? I don't know. I like DJ Moore. I don't love DJ Moore. I like Najee and the way he played and the way he's playing, but I don't love him. JSN with DK week to week, that could be good value. I lean probably Pacheco and Debo personally, especially at 6-1. You could wait on Pacheco. You could wait on Debo. At the end of the day, I think it works for you. And traded Evans for Nico as well. I definitely consider that, but there's pros and cons of which we don't know yet. So definitely at 6-1, that's probably a pretty solid move for you, though. I like the idea of getting Nico in your situation. That's really good. Thank you for your super chat. And Austin with the final super chat to get caught up. Then I'll go to Travis's call. 12-man PPR, 5-2, K1, Amon-Ra, Chase, Neighbors, Bijan, K9, Bowers, Hunt, Chase Brown on the bench. Do I need to make a trade? Don't need to make a trade, but any ideas? 5-2, Amon-Ra, Chase, Neighbors. God, your team's good. I'm fine with this team. The only thing I consider is like Hunt. You know, I'd like to upgrade K1 into Josh Allen if possible. K1 and Hunt for Josh Allen. K1 and Hunt for Hurts potentially. Something along those lines. But past that, I don't think you need to upgrade anything else. And I don't mind you just waiting. But Hunt getting you into a top 3 QB would be my main objective if I had this team. But your receivers are off the hook. And Kyler is solid. I think Kyler's going to be top 6 to 10 the rest of the year. I think he's just going to be kind of up and down. Travis, you're live.
Meant to ask you earlier, is Jatavion Sanders on your radar at all? Tommy Tremble was out the past 2 weeks, and they've been starting to use him. He looks pretty good, like running routes and not just getting dump offs and stuff like that. Is he in a deeper league, a stash, or if you have a big bench? I mean, he's been half PPR, 7.4 and 9.1 per point. So
I like him. I like him. I definitely, he's on the waiver wire list every week. He's just sitting. I haven't moved him. He's sat right there for like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, just sitting right here at the bottom.
Jatavion has one?
Yeah. Tight end, yeah. Sanders, you're talking about Sanders from Carolina. Yeah, you're talking about Sanders from Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been sitting.
Oh, okay.
He's been sitting right here at the bottom of the waiver wire tight end board for weeks. I haven't even really moved him. Maybe he deserves to go up a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, I like him. I mean, they drafted him for a reason.
Right.
They drafted him for a reason. They want him to be their potential future. So I think it's a good, especially in Dynasty, but redraft hard to say. I don't know that he'll get
it's a tough situation.
Yeah.
Do you think they've given up completely on Bryce Young? Like, you think they're going another quarterback with a high pick? Or?
I mean, you would think if they didn't, if they were totally over him, they would trade him. There have been a lot of people that have called. I know they want to get like a really good deal, but do I trade Bijan for Achane and Olave? I'd probably take Achane and Olave, unless, Brian, you're winning with Bijan, like you got 5 wins or something, then maybe don't try and fix what isn't broken. But I would take Achane and Olave in a heartbeat. So that's a tough call. Hold on, Travis. Let me go over. I'll come back to you. Lando, you're live, real quick. Go ahead, bro, as quick as you can.
Hey, Smitty, what's up, man? Thanks for the line.
Yeah.
Real quick, I have a question. What kind of trade value would I have if I wanted to package a deal with Pittman, Jennings, and Dante Wicks?
Pittman, Jennings, and Wicks?
Correct. I'm trying to move up a little bit so I can stay ahead.
I mean, I don't know. This is kind of one of those things where, like, don't take this the wrong way. But like where someone's like just looking at their roster and they're just, it's like a Jerry Maguire memo moment where you're up at night. You're like, what if I could put together this thing and create this great idea, and then in the morning it doesn't look so good. I mean, I don't know that anybody's trading for Pittman or trading for Wicks. Maybe they will for Jennings once he proves himself, but I don't think this is getting you any. I don't think anybody's sitting there going, I could use that package right there. That trio is what I've been looking for. Like, give me that trio. You might be hard pressed to get someone to even want to take them and not drop 2 of the 3. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard enough to find spots for in your like it's so. I mean, think about when you got to pick up a kicker or someone's on a bye, you're struggling. Like you think someone's got 3 drops. I'd probably say, if I did just put a player value on it, I guess I would say, jeez, Puka. Because there's some allure here. But even that, he's on IR, so now the person's got to make 3 spots for 0, unless they just take 2 of these 3. But I don't know. Puka would make a lot of sense. You could say like take a gamble on a Chubb. You could say take a gamble on Pacheco. You could say take a gamble on a Laporta. Like that wouldn't be crazy. Somebody that maybe found Kraft, or they've got Komet coming back from the bye week and they have Laporta and they're like, I could get, or they have Andrews and now they believe in Andrews again. Laporta would be great. Like try for those things, bro. All right. There's a lot of background noise, some mouth breathing going on. I appreciate you, bro. It sounded like that, Lando, appreciate you the question. It sounded like that sound from Contact when it's searching for life and it's like, and it starts getting louder and louder. We're making contact, but yeah, I don't know what Lando's line was doing there. All right, real quickly, hang tight for me, callers. Let me get these super chats out of the way real quickly so they don't pile up too much and I get behind and people don't feel like I'm taking care of their super chats. We've got, actually, you know what? I'm going to have to get to these super chats. So let me go around the phone line real quick and close it. George from the Bay, you got 30 seconds.
Yo, Smitty, what up, man? Yeah, I just want to give you an update on our head-to-head for our BBM head-to-head match. You're up by 36 points right now.
I'll be George, do not take offense to this, but I don't even know what league you're talking about. I don't even, half the time I don't even set my lineups.
Yeah, so on one of the shows I called in,
what league is this?
I drafted the winning team, and you basically put your team up against mine that you drafted that night. You don't remember that? Okay. I got you. Okay, so everybody in the chat was saying you were going to destroy me. Well, you're only up by 36 points at week 7, so I mean, I'm looking pretty good here.
Yeah, do you have the teams written down?
I don't have the teams written down, but I got the points. You're at 785.2.
So you don't have the teams? You don't have access to the teams?
Yeah, I got a screenshot from your team.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah.
Like I want to hear the 2 lineups.
Okay. Let's see. So you actually got a nice little squad. You got Josh Allen.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me write it down. Smitty's team. Okay. Allen.
You got Josh Allen. You got Tua, who's obviously getting a bunch of zeros. You got Justin Fields. Let's see what else you got. You got Kyron, ETN, Chimera, Blake Corum, Ray Davis, Hank Bigsby.
Woo!
Yeah. You got a stacked up running back room. Hey, for all the people that are new to the channel, Smitty's been preaching all offseason, running back, and his theory is always proven to be right. So just follow this guy, man.
All right.
So your wide receivers are Tyreek Hill.
I've been waiting on that. So
Coleman.
That could come back to help me here in a bit if I'm already beating you.
Yeah. Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir.
That's good.
Jahan Dotson, Jordan Whittington.
This is dry.
And your tight end room. I'm a little worried about your tight end room because you're stacked there too. You got Kincaid, Bennett, and Likely.
I don't know if that's stacked, but look, I mean, let's be honest. This team was scary if Hill didn't lose Tua. Right, the wide receiver room is hurting, but it's because we know why. And it's thin. Yeah. It's certainly thin. This is best ball. Are you going off of best ball, or how are you doing this?
Yeah, so I called in on the show and I told you, I just drafted my last team of Best Ball Mania and I picked the winner. You're like, okay, well, we'll put your team up against mine.
Yeah, your team your team sounded like trash to us. Okay, what is your team?
Yeah. Everybody in the chat voted that you would destroy me because my last pick of the draft was Miles Sanders. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I was banking on him getting traded. So, but anyway, Baker's been holding me afloat.
Okay, go.
What's that? Okay, so I got Baker and Hurts at quarterback. I got Barkley, Gibbs, Mostert, Warren, and Sanders.
Gibbs. Okay.
Mostert, Warren, and Sanders.
Nice.
And then my wide receivers are really thin. I got Pickens, Hollywood Brown, who's out. That's a 0. Cooks, who's out. That's a 0. Judy, who should be the number 1 now in Cleveland, now that Cooper's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll write them down. I'll write them down. You're pretty optimistic about that, but go ahead.
I got Dotson, Tolbert. Now here's what I think is going to put me in the league because I got McMillan on the squad now. So with the Godwin injury and Evans injury, McMillan should get some points for me over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think I got you cooked. The thing, who are your tight ends? Who are your tight ends?
My tight ends are Kittle, Sinnott, and Jatavian Sanders.
Okay. All right. Hey, I got to run. I appreciate you giving me that. Very good team. Barks and Gibbs versus Kyron Kamara, and then we got this Hill thing going on here. Hopefully that saves me. Josh Allen over Hurts. I like my chances still, but you definitely have good RBs. You're really hurting at wide receiver. Not that I'm not, but I think Hill comes back. All right. Hey, appreciate you, George. We'll see you later.
It's all fun and games,
Until someone gets hurt.
Like I said, if I end up losing, I'll make a big substantial donation to you.
Attaboy.
So,
all right,
I
George.
love supporting the show, man.
Thank you, George. Appreciate you. Krillo, you got 20 seconds. George took 10 of yours. Go.
Hey, Smitty, so I need a waiver priority second pick, and I need a flex. I don't want to start Deontay Johnson, so do I pick up Juwan Jennings, Mooney, Coleman's out there, but I have Cooper. I have Amari Cooper. I don't know if to start both. And then McMillan's out there.
I don't know why I can't write tonight. So, Jenny, I mean, you got to start Cooper, but I pick up...
No, I know. But do I pick up Coleman though if I have Cooper? I feel like no, right?
Well, I mean, I got Jennings and Cooper or Jennings and Coleman side by side. I mean, I'd probably say
What about Mooney?
I'd probably say
Mooney's on my waivers.
I'd probably say take Jennings, bro. Jennings is going to be
over Mooney as well.
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, Jennings was absolutely everybody's favorite wide receiver. It seemed. Remember my 19 catch Juwan Jennings? I make fun of him because the Niners are like, he's a dog, and then he goes out and has a dog game. He hasn't done much since, but he's definitely been a one-hit wonder. However, he does know the playbook. He's in a good position now. Ayuk's done for the year. Probably going to be pretty good. I think Mooney's solid, but Jennings has a chance to, I think, get probably more volume. But we'll see. Mooney's solid, though. You could pick up Mooney as well. Figure out a way to get him.
Yeah, I'm going to put a claim in as well, but we'll see if I get him.
All right, bro.
What about, what do you think about Hunter Henry with Drake May?
Solid, very solid. Top 10 tight end, probably top. He's been top, 10 all year, really. So, yeah, definitely good. Definitely solid. All right, Krill, got to run. Appreciate you. Tim from Pennsylvania. 20 seconds, Tim. Hurry it up.
Quick advice needed on a trade, bud.
All
right, so I'm giving up Amari Cooper and Jared Goff, and I'm getting back Garrett Wilson and Brock Purdy.
The way I look at this is I think Goff and Purdy, even though Purdy played horrible, these are comparable. Cooper and Garrett Wilson could actually become comparable. I don't really know how to value Cooper yet. I'd probably say, give me... Chat, vote on this one.
I think I think it's a tough one, man. I think it's super close. It's almost like making a trade to make a trade, possibly. But I was encouraged by what I saw from Garrett Wilson last night with targets. And Amari Cooper, I just don't like how inconsistent he is week to week.
But you don't know what he's going to be in Buffalo, though. He just scored a touchdown in his first game, though. You know, I kind of feel like Goff and Cooper feel safer than Purdy, Garrett Wilson, but I mean, Cooper could be the number one for his team, and he's on a great offense. But granted, they've been weird about spreading the ball around and actually their passing production. But I still think they're very capable of just airing it out and having big games. Garrett Wilson's probably the number 2 on his team. I'm gonna lean toward this. It's very close. I wouldn't say either side's taking a lap on any level. It's just give me Cooper and Goff.
Okay. Can I ask you a real quick question, too?
Yeah, last one.
Am I absolutely crazy to think that I should try to trade Travis Kelce and roll with David Njoku, who I have as a backup? I'm so sick of Kelce.
Why would that be crazy?
Because it's Kelce, but, dude, after 2 great weeks, he comes back with 5. I mean, they just run the ball in Kansas
I mean,
City.
it's only smart and logical if you've got in this tight end climate where you need to make trades and make things happen to trade one of your tight ends away to get, a wide receiver or running back that's undervalued. So, certainly do it. But be open-minded to trading either one because Kelce might not get as much.
Njoku should be better without Deshaun Watson,
what I'm trying to say, though, is be open-minded and try and trade both of them and get trade whichever one nets you more return. All right, got to go, bro. Appreciate you.
Cool.
Later.
Thanks, Smitty. Thanks.
Travis, final thoughts.
Yeah, would you trade same thing, BTJ and Monty for Kyron? Or is that too much still?
Look, there's definitely pros and cons to it. On each side, like getting one player, being overworked. Monty, he kind of feels like he's an injury-prone-ish player at this stage in his career with the volume and the grunt work that they give him. They feed him the worst of worst carries. BT's a rookie. We saw people jump off the train a little bit last week, and then this week they jump back on it. And everybody loves him again. He's top 10 wide receiver again. Last week he was not. People were worried about him. I would take Kyron personally, but that's me.
Okay.
In this, bye week out of the way for Monty, bye week out of the way for Kyron. BT's just solid. It's nice to have 2 players, but obviously you're making this move for a reason to get a big stud. And maybe you got a little depth. I'd definitely take Kyron.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it, Smitty. I'll talk to you later.
All right, later, bro. Woo, Kyron. Kyron is actually. Let's pull up something real quickly on player rankings and a leaderboard, just a random league. Kamara, Henry, it looks like it hasn't updated yet. Kyron should be around 5 or 6 in most any league. He's got 8 rushing touchdowns so far. Kyron's got 8 rushing touchdowns so far. Derrick Henry has 8 rushing touchdowns so far. Kamara's got 6. Kenneth Walker's got 6. Monty's got 6. Brian Robinson Jr., Barkley, Gibbs. Gibbs is 5. Gibbs is number 8. Kyron's got 8 rushing touchdowns and how many receiving? He's got receiving. So he's got 9 total touchdowns. Derrick Henry's got 9 total touchdowns. Kamara's got 7 total touchdowns. So yeah, Kyron and Henry both have 9 total touchdowns already. It's unbelievable. We got a couple immediate assistance super chats that just dropped from Chris M4, sorry. And Who Dat Lolo dropping 2 $20 haulers on screen. Let's start off with Chris's, who was dropped first, I believe. 10-team PPR 4-3, lost by 10 and had Tank Dell in my flex and Devontae Smith as wide receiver 2. I need more solid wide receiver 2 options. Is there a trade I can make? Gibbs and HN and Hurts are fantastic, bro. Jamar Chase. Oh, no, it's not Jamar Chase. Damn it, I'm always disappointed when I think somebody has Jamar Chase. Najee or JK rest of season. Probably Najee, bro, after what we saw tonight and the way they used their RBs. Thank you, David. Appreciate you. Stoke, I'm going to put your longer message at the back here because I got to answer these in order in which they're received. Chris, I'd probably say off that last question, I'm trying to trade Najee and Connor, and love your receivers, though. I do. JJ, Devontae Smith, I still love them. I like this team a lot. McBride's a great tight end. I like this squad a lot. Lost by 10, trying to get a more solid wide receiver too. I wouldn't be, if you're going to try and trade Smith into like Hill or Lamb, it's possible. I think you could try Connor and Smith Connor and Devontae Smith for Lamb. If you go with a Devontae Smith and JSN or Devontae Smith and Mooney or a Devontae Smith and Connor for Hill, you need to probably get something back. But I think those are the two wide receiver targets for me if I'm you. And would I contemplate a 4-3 record, trading some of the bench fodder, JSN with the potential DK injury, Mooney, maybe even Connor for Nico and something? I would. I think Nico's one of the craftier buy lows right now. Sup, Smitty? Hope all is well. I'm 6-1. I have Lamar, DK, Neighbors, JT, Gibbs, Bowers, Mason, and BT guy in my leagues. Lost Godwin and Ayuk. Ooh. This week he's trading AJ Brown and Kyron. You think I should offer Neighbors, BT, and Mason for them? So you need to get in his mind. He needs bodies. He needs multiple players. So you're thinking right here by putting a package together for two players. You're giving him more than he's getting in terms of numbers. So Neighbors, BT, and Mason, I would definitely trade Neighbors, BT, and Mason for AJ Brown and Kyron, who both have had their buys out of the way. 100% make this trade. And that's a good deal for him, technically speaking. And I'd even be tempted to throw in something else additional, small. But that's a great trade for you. That's smart thinking, my guy. Smitty super chatted 20 earlier, but I think you missed it. And I can't find you going over it again. Gabe, let's see. No, Gabe, we send people on laps when they say this, and it ends up not being true. Because you took a potty break, maybe. And it isn't that I missed it, you just left. Let's see, Lomas. I don't have anything but this super chat from you, so I don't see that you actually super chatted. You might have typed it and it didn't go through, so that's why you couldn't find it, and I don't have any evidence of it at all. So Gabe, this is your only super chat. Unfortunately, you didn't ask the question again, though. You guys gotta always try and remember to ask the question. Like, even if I miss the super chat, like, understand that, like, you're gonna waste the opportunity to get my attention again for it. But I don't see it. I think you didn't send it. It didn't go through for whatever reason. Dentrick, appreciate you. $20 holler. Hey, I just wanted to say I'm not going to do the Reed ETN for MHJ and Komet. I have Otten. And now I trade for a running back. Who? JT, Achan are the best buy low RBs. Kamara as well on the market. Connor has nice sell high value right now, but if you're not trying to get rid of Connor, you could try and trade Reed and Bigsby for a Achan or JT. If you go after JT, maybe Reed and Bigsby earn you to get something else back. Achan, I'd almost do it straight up, but I'd try and make it a 2 for 2. But Achan would be fantastic to go get. And his value's low. Kamara, same thing. Kamara is very attainable in a trade right now. He's very much disappointed his owners. They're very worried about him dropping off. 3-4 record. Allen Hall, Kyron, Higgins, AJB, Andrews, Adams, benches, Hopkins, Leggett, C-Mac. Any moves to make? I'd probably say with this squad, I love the team the way it is. Unless I can trade, let's call it Christian McCaffrey and Adams for one player, Lamb would be ideal. Christian McCaffrey straight up for Hill, take the gamble. For JT, take the gamble. For Achan, take the gamble. For Walker, obviously I do that as well. And I do it straight up for the wide receiver swap or the running back swap. I think because you got Kyron and Hall, my target would be a Hill or a Lamb. And if it's C-Mac and Adams for Lamb and something, that 2 for 2 could work pretty well too. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate your super chat. I'll come for you in a second, pal. Appreciate you. Jay with a $20 hauler. Big day, Smitty. I'm sorry I left this up here. Won 1K on underdog and moved to 6-1. Congrats on that, pal. Hurts, running back, Gibbs, Kyron, AJB, Jamar Chase. Wow. JSN, Downs, tight end, Kraft, and Joku. Do I pick up? Who do I pick up going to try to get Jennings? Okay. Your drop, if you're asking me who your drop is, I'd probably say, I guess of this, Juju Hurt. Downs, maybe. That's probably it. I'd probably hang on to everybody else. You could talk Tracy, I suppose, but I think they're still upside there. But I like Jennings more than pretty much all those guys in that order. As far as trades, I'm going to say stand down. Unless you could trade away like a tight end like Crafter and Joku to get like, I don't know, Worthy, to get Puka, to maybe upgrade JSN, maybe even after a week of JSN playing with DK, let's say week to week, with Njoku or Kraft to get, I don't know. Nico comes to mind as a great buy low because people can't wait on him. Love the team. I'd say your team is very much a team I would just hold, bro. It's really good. 12-team PPR, 2-5 now. Lamar, JD5, Achane, Walker, CMC, Algier, Wright, Garendo, Jaden Reed, St. Brown, Wandell, Worthy, Likely, Muth. What can I do? Trade a quarterback if it's a 1 QB league, which I don't see Superflex anywhere, so you have to make a trade. I imagine you started JD5 this week over Lamar, which you're not crazy to have done that. It sucks now. Hindsight's 2020. It is what it is. JD5 going down, you couldn't. But like JD5 might be out for a game, so like then you're in a bind if you trade away Lamar. You probably wait a week because I don't think it'll hurt you to wait for JD5 to come back. But at the same time, your team is so solid. It's not maybe the best team in the league, but I bet you it's in the top 5. I think you could just wait a week before you play anything out. St. Brown's value is going to go up. Worthy's value is going to go up. Walker is hard to sell high, even though he's playing well. CMC's coming back. I would guess the only player I'd try and shop is CMC right now. And you might be able to go to an owner that has a quarterback that wants JD5 cheap, and you're not going to sell him cheap, but I mean, you could sell him now. Maybe JD5 and CMC for 2 players. Maybe you go after the Lamb, go to the Lamb owner. Like I'd take Lamb on this squad. I'd take Achane or you got Achane. I'd take Gibbs for JD5 and CMC, potentially. Look to do those moves, I think. This one here, Bo Callahan with his 23-month membership. Bijan is running back 4. Brees is running back 5. The value Brees over Bijan. I definitely value Brees over Bijan right now. And by the way, Bijan's running back 10 overall in most scoring formats, which is still pretty nice. Team is Josh Allen, Barkley, Bijan, AJ Brown, Higgins, Kittle, Amari Cooper, Bigsby, J-Mo, and Nico. Jeez, you got hit hard. Any moves, you're 5-2. You're 5-2, looking good. Josh Allen, Barkley, Bijan, AJ Brown. Hey, I don't think I'm maybe trying to trade like a Bigsby and Amari for like a Hill or an Achane type of player, for sure. JT type of player. Smash that. That's the best combo, I think, to trade away in your situation. $4.99, half PPR, 5-2. Kyler, Marv, Pickens, AJ Brown, Waddle, Sutton, Monty, AK, Braylon. Trade ideas, maybe upgrade to a better running back 1-2. I guess like Pickens is good high value right now. AJB I love, don't move him. Monty and Pickens for that Kyron type player I'd certainly consider. AK and Monty's pretty solid though. You don't necessarily need to make that trade. You could keep AJB, Pickens, and trade one of your tight ends. Pickens and one of your tight ends for a Tyreek Hill or Lamb or Achane type of player. I think that's where your value is. Pickens has high enough value now where I think he's in reach of Hill in the extra tight end, and Njoku or Bowers. Whichever one gets it done pushes it over the edge. Same thing with Lamb. You throw in another piece, you might even get that done pretty easily. If you go, let's say Bowers or Njoku, let's say Bowers and Monty for Lamb. I'd do that. Stroke, appreciate you. 10 team, 0.5, 6-1. Love Stroud. Achan. I don't love Stroud right now. You have Love and Stroud. Stroud's pissing me off, actually. So Jordan Love and Stroud, I should say. Achan, Kyron, love that. Javonte's a good sell piece right now. Eckler, wide receivers, Hill, Reed, BT. What about BT and Javonte for Lamb, or BT and Javonte for like a top 5 running back? Javonte and BT might get it done. What about Javonte and Devontae Smith for a Lamb or a player in that territory? Thinking Smith for Aaron Jones. I would probably consider that, but I'd rather go after Achan, or I'm sorry, you have Achan and Kyron. All right. I'd rather go after a receiver if I'm you. I don't know that I'm wanting Aaron Jones as much as I'm wanting a beefier wide receiver room alongside of Hill, so to speak. Or use Devontae Smith and upgrade Jordan Love into Josh Allen. That's a huge league winner type move right there, my guy. This is a trade for a super chat $20 hauler from Gabe. Sorry, 4-3, 12-man, 0.5. Gabe, don't apologize to me. You're the man. Any trades? Christian, Watson, Coleman, Wright, Tillman, Jennings are on waivers. Who should I drop? I'd probably say Jennings might be safest. Coleman might be my second favorite. But Jennings might be really solid. I don't know, chat. Can we vote Coleman or Jennings? Who do you like better going forward? Maybe we do like Coleman. Coleman looked really good. Jennings is safer. Coleman's higher risk, higher reward. That's the best way to put it. And the best drop for you probably would be, you don't have Kyron, so I'd probably say Corum or Ridley. I don't know what I feel about Ridley. What if Ridley gets traded at the deadline to the Chiefs, bro? You could also drop in a 1 QB. I assume this is a 1 QB. I don't see Superflex anywhere. You could drop Fields right now. You don't need to keep Fields in a 1 QB. Puka, I like Puka. Your team's really good. I would say Burrow, Hall, upgrading Chase Brown slightly. I'd love to see you get JT or an Achan. Ayuk and Jamo. Shall I say, I don't mean this in offense. I would say you did have a really good team. You had a great team. Now you have a good team because you got hit with 2 of your wide receivers down and out, and Puka's been hurt. But, man, you still got a solid wide receiver room still with Chase, London, and Worthy. I think I'm probably just trying to use... I'd explore using... God, Puka, when Puka comes back, you're gonna be in a nice position. I guess I'm trying to trade, like... I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't think this is an easy team to trade. I like the idea of getting a wide receiver. It looks like Jennings is winning the vote slightly, so for safety, I'd go after Jennings. Maybe try and acquire both of them. You know, if you don't think you can win it all, you might have to trade Ja'Marr Chase for like Hill and a JT. Explore what 2 players you can get for Ja'Marr Chase. Don't do it yet, Gabe. Bring it to me. But we need to look at that. Start 8, 1 QB Dynasty trade. JSN and top 3 2025 first round pick and a 26 first round pick for Marvin Harrison Jr. This is testing my resolve. This truly is. I would lean toward not acquiring Marvin Harrison Jr. right now, but I hope to God I change my mind. I just don't know what they're doing with him, and it scares me enough to say if that's a top 3 2025 first rounder, I don't know that I'm trading that and a 2026 and GSN for him right now. If it was not a guarantee, like if it was a mid to late or a guaranteed mid but not guaranteed to be top 3, I would say I'd keep Marv, or I'd want Marv. Hold, sell Jaden Reed. I love Jaden Reed. I don't think you could sell him high, so I wouldn't trade him. Unless you can trade like him and Najee for one big gun. You know what I mean? Like a Lamb or something crazy like that. Flowers is hard to trade right now. But I would hold Reed versus trade him because he's got no trade value right now. Unfortunately. Lamar, Baker, Gibbs, Cook, Hubbard, Stevenson, Brooks, MHJ, Flowers, Puka, Mooney, Waddle. 3 and 4. This team is good enough to win the league. I would say I'm looking to trade Brooks or Hubbard. And maybe you can trade MHJ or not with that combo. Not 1-for-1, but if you throw MHJ with Hubbard or throw MHJ with Brooks or with Cook, maybe you can upgrade him. You know, MHJ and Cook's into Tyreek Hill. I think you just got to buy a doubted player like Nico. You're 3 and 4. It's kind of risky, but Nico or Debo right now is pretty good for you. Debo would be good. And especially Tyreek Hill would be fantastic. Stand down. Some of these teams are hard to maneuver. Evans, if Evans going down, bro, I think you got to maybe explore and bring it back to me what 2 players you can get for Brees and what 2 players you can get for Ja'Marr Chase. Hill has to be a target. Achane has to be a target. Gibbs has to be a target. What player can you additionally get with one of those guys giving up Ja'Marr Chase, giving up Brees Hall? I hate to tell you that that's what I'd have to do, but it's what I'd have to do. 3 and 4, is this team good enough? Oh, I just answered that one. Thank you, pal. Appreciate you. Have Mahomes drop Garendo for Russ. If you don't have Mason, I'm okay with that. Pearsall or Juwan Jennings, probably Juwan Jennings. We've talked about that all night. As long as you don't have Mason, I'm okay with this move. Any moves, 10-team PPR, 3 flex, Burrow, Ken Walker, Gibbs, James Conner, Kareem, Tyreek, London. I'd probably say I like this squad a lot. Not moving much, but maybe Conner or Hunt with Deontay. Or maybe you wait a week and let Worthy pop off. I would consider London and, let's say, London and Kareem Hunt or London and Connor for like a Lamb, a top shelf guy, a Kyron to go along with my Gibbs, like that type of move. Past that, maybe Nico using Connor to get Nico in something. But Connor's hard to trade, but you do have 2 really good RBs. I'd probably say I'm waiting on Worthy's value to increase, and maybe you could go Hunt for Collins, because Hunt may lose some value. You're taking a little bit of a gamble. What if Pacheco doesn't come back? But I would probably say Collins is a great target, or Debo for Kareem Hunt. Jacobs and Kraft for JT. I'd take JT and run. I have Tyreek, and I'm in last place. Keeper League was offered Laporta and Garrett Wilson for him. I have Tyreek. I would take Garrett Wilson and Laporta for... You're in last place. You're in last place because Hill hasn't played, though. I think I bank on Hill for you, and I fill my tight end position a different way. That's going to be my final answer. Dynasty League, Lamar, Stafford... Let's see. Kyron, Bijan, Mason, Mostert, T, Cup, Debo, Javon. That's a good team. CMC owner has Achane, Walker, Pickens, Diggs, Godwin. My advice to trade, I'd say see, Bijan, Kyron. I like your team a lot. Mason. Let's go Mason for Achane or Walker. And if you got to give up, I mean, Juwan Jennings, look, this guy might be a Niner fan. Juwan Jennings and Mason for Achane, doable. Achane had a bad game. I think people freak out. I would explore that. Mason and T. Higgins for Achane and something. I mean, Diggs could work. Gary, I definitely am intrigued by that attempt. Smitty, do you think Pacheco comes back? Josh, it's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. If I had to guess, I'd say it's 50-50. And I think people that assume he's coming back don't realize he had hardware put in. I don't know. He's such a crazy player, though. Like, he runs harder than anybody, puts his body at risk. And if anybody's going to put himself at risk, it's him. But he could also get hurt again if he rushes back. But it's a great question. I'd say 50-50. I'd say maybe 55% chance he returns. It's a great question, though. And the truth is, none of us have an answer because you still got to test it out and ramp up and see if it's possible. You know what I mean? Like, no one has an answer. Would you trade BT and either Mason, Ramondre for CD? Absolutely. I would take, 100%. Like, Mason and Ramondre aren't even close. So, BT and Ramondre for CD, run. If I do BT and Mason, I do try and get something else because the value for CD Lamb is bad right now. That's why you're trying to acquire him on the cheap. But you're quietly being like, yeah, I don't know if I believe in him bouncing back, but you do. But I try and get a little more if you can. Pacheco will come back. This is what I deal with all day right here. Right? Smash. This is like a sandwich right between these two. It's like, Pacheco's done, bro. Pacheco will come back. Back and forth. It's just... What did I do? I messed up on... Super chat here from Sultan. Mahomes, Baker, Mason, Connor, Dobbins, CMC, Chubb, AJ, Waddle, Jordan Addison, Kelsey. Just lost Godwin. Any moves? Got offered CMC, Mason, Chubb for Tyreek. It's not bad, but I'd rather have Tyreek if Tua's back because it's cloudy. That's cloudy. As far as your team, I mean, Dobbins has no trade value as of this moment. Connor for Hill. Oh, you got Hill. No, you have Mason. So yeah, I take Hill. If that's what you're getting, I take Hill. But you got to be careful, like, who your RBs if you make this trade. Like, you almost can't do that trade unless you get an RB back. You'd have Dobbins and Connor only, right? I guess you could roll with that, but that's risky. And to be honest with you, I don't know if your team would be good enough to win if you made this trade or didn't make this trade. So you'd almost have to trade for Hill or let CMC become CMC again, which I don't think will happen. So you wait for Hill to pop off and then you divide him into two players is probably your best chance. But I would take Hill. There's not a lot of trade. I hate to tell you, bro, there's not a lot of trade value unless that happens. So I would go get Hill and hope that he explodes. How does Drake May do against the Jets? May it rain TDs? It could. I think there could be some ups and downs, but he certainly looks really good. I'd say he's really solid. He looks like a good quarterback. I'm very impressed. I might need to drop Pacheco. I have Puka on IR. I don't hate that, but I certainly try and trade him before I drop him. Go find the Hunt owner and try and get something done. 2 for 1. $9.99 hauler from Johnny. Josh Allen, Mixon, Gibbs, fantastic running back stable. Brooks is tradable. Adams and Brooks for something. Maybe Adams and Brooks for Tyreek Hill. I love Nico waiting in the wings. I love Lamb in London. It's a really good team. Devontae Smith and Pacheco. Devontae Smith and Brooks for a Tyreek Hill-ish move. I like that. Ingram 4-3. Do we stay put? Those are the only moves I'd look to consider. Good job with Nico. Keep him. Don't trade him. All right, guys. I've been live for about 2.5 hours. I'm going to call it a night. Appreciate you all. Yeah, Nostradamus, go look at the last video. Not this video, the video before this, where we break the Deebo Samuel in the hospital news. You're about 6 hours behind. Go check out that video. I'll see you all later. Appreciate all you super chatters. Please punch that thumb up button on the way out the door. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. The channel's nearing. We're about a little less than 100 subscribers away from 31K. Instead of 30, we're at 30.9K. We're about a little less than 100 subscribers away. So hit that subscribe button. I see them when you do it. I thank you. There's 2 more that just came in just from me saying that. We're less than 100 subscribers away from 31K. So we'll change that sign in the back. And hit that thumb up button on the way out the door. Appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for allowing me to do what I do. I work for you, and we break news. Whenever news breaks, I go live. I'm live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. I'm also live additionally on different live streams when news breaks, and I'm live a lot of midnights trying to draft with you and cook up different trade ideas and such. This is the place. This is your new home. Appreciate you if you're new. Subscribe. Every one of you. I'll see you tomorrow.
He's Kyron, he's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball.
Actually, real quickly, I'm sorry, I forgot. Join the Patreon. The Patreon is the best place to talk 24/7, live, 365 on the Patreon. That link I just dropped. We literally, I think I'm going to go live on the Patreon right now. Let me see if I can, yeah, there is. I dropped the link already. There's the link. I'm going to go live on the Patreon right now, or maybe in like 5 to 10 minutes. And I will be talking on a live stream. It's like Twitter Spaces. It's audio, but I go live on the Patreon. I try and do this like not every night, but almost every night if I can. And you guys can all join me over there. We're just going to move on over to the Patreon. It's $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Try it for 1 month. It's like 1 cup of coffee, one trip to McDonald's, whatever. $10 a month. Cancel anytime. And essentially is like 10 chat rooms. And during games, we're all the entire chat rooms go ghost town because we're all packed inside the game day lounge as we were during the game. And we're just talking, start bench advice, complaining, celebrating, whatever, inside the game day lounge chat. But it's basically 10 live chat rooms, 365, 24/7, have trade advice, need help, or inside the Patreon. I'll drop the link one more time. It's pinned in the live chat. It's in the description of every video. If you later want to access this link, it's in the description of any video, so you remember. And it's also patreon.com/thefantasyfootballshow. Go check out the Patreon. Appreciate you all. I'll be live on there in about 10 minutes or so, maybe.
Legend has it if you say St. Brown 3 times in the dark in the bathroom, you will immediately lose your league.